I expect that. Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern. I am actually caffeinated tonight, so this is going to be fun. But seriously, welcome to another episode of the Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern. Happy to have you guys out there in the audience. We were just talking fun plans for Halloween and, of course, a bunch of nerdy stuff. But FYI, I'm putting it out there now on the Sunday in the month that happens to have the moniker of the 22nd of October. We will be running... Shut up, Dustin. You got problems over there?
Oh, I'm good.
On October 22nd, we will be taking a break from Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern to run a one-shot, and it will be a one-shot, I promise you, of Bard Out of Hell. This is one of my favorite one-shots in the world, and I have had the great pleasure of running it for 5 or 6 different groups now. I think it's 6 groups at this point, because I just ran it over at a Drama and Adventures a month or 2 ago, and it is amazing, and I once again am so lucky because I have a table of people that have never played this one-shot. Right? Right. Okay, just double check. But on the 22nd, we will be playing Like a Bard Out of Hell, hopefully with some special guest stars, where we have an all-bard group in hell trying to escape from the devil that they make contracts with. I mean, the name pretty much explains the premise.
Wait, this is in hell?
It is in hell. Yes, it is in hell.
I missed that part.
Not just a cool
Hopefully that's not on your lines and veils. Otherwise, we can talk.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, no demons,
Which
no...
level of hell?
Yes. I only have...
like the odd levels.
Yes. The other ones?
Even ones, no.
I also don't like bards.
I don't like... Oh, no.
We may have
Might not be the right player for this.
I'm just a rogue.
But we have some really cool Halloween content that we will be promoting here throughout the month at Mythical Family, because we have all sorts of fun things that we want to do for Halloween. We all love Spooky Month, so we have a bunch of special games that are going to be either streamed or recorded and streamed in events and stuff like that. So please stay tuned. You'll get to see us playing, and hopefully a lot of our awesome friends here in Reno, and maybe even in other parts of the country as well, if we are lucky. So in the meantime, I don't think that... Well, RageCon isn't close yet, but we are getting closer by the day to RageCon, and I just found out that even more special guests might be here next year, so I'm just excited. This isn't even for the audience, this is just for me telling you guys. I found out even more people might fly out here next year for RageCon, so...
Right, but when is RageCon?
Oh my god.
When is it, Jillian? Uno reverse card.
Hold on.
I believe June 28th through the 30th.
June what?
28th through the 30th.
Okay, someone check her.
Does the math check out?
Yes.
Does the math
check out? I don't know if the math checks out, but it's okay. We're going to go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern then, because we don't have any other announcements to go through. Last we left off, our party had survived a couple days of traveling across the nation of Quandir as they were making their way down to the southernmost peninsula, to the town of Arkdun, where the university, a magical floating university that has been around for about 3,000 to 4,000 years at this point, floats above Quandir high in the sky and moves slowly from town to town and opens up portals or different forms of teleportation so people can attend or visit the university, or if staff and students can visit their families and the rest of the nation as well. And our adventurers tracked the university down to the town of Arkdun after an interesting encounter in the forest. First with emotions, where Vander had to struggle with the fact that some of, if not a lot of his biological family may have been assassinated. It's still up in the air, but they got some dire news where it seems like it's confirmed at this point. So Vander had to spend some time soul searching on his own. And through that soul searching unlocked some of his latent druidic powers. Yes.
Great for alchemy.
I mean, great for alchemy. You mix a little bit of dirt with some clay and it just makes the fur shine. All the elvish ladies love it. And
at least one does.
At least one does. And Vander was able to druid craft these beautiful vines into and around his porcelain arms. And then once he headed back to camp, Vander discovered some small fire elementals that were seeking solace in the flames of the campfire. And then Vander and the party, through the next couple hours, kind of communicated with the elementals and found out that they have been suppressed in this land due to certain spells and probably rituals to make the farmland safe, and that the party had kind of disturbed them and allowed them to come out and flourish, and they didn't want to go away. So the new member of the party, Leal, helped forge a special lantern that all the elementals were living in now. So super cool. And then Vander affixed that to the end of their quarterstaff. And they made it to the town of Arcton, bought some, well, you guys didn't buy supplies, but you bought, what is the term that I'm looking for? Lodging for your horses. Yes, thank you. You put your horses and wagon into lodging and then made your way to the university where you signed in at the front visitor desk, got your visitor passes, kind of reminiscent of the weird crystalline magical licenses that the evil Edwin used back about 2 years ago. And you were going to start exploring the university. You had realized that Skalea had stuck to what she said on the ground. It didn't come up. And then Vander went back through the portal, dragged Skalea through. We'll see how that plays out. And then there was a discovery about the name of the gentleman that was signing you in.
No, there's no one.
Yeah, no one. Nobody of any import. This
Nobody of importance.
very well-dressed gentleman who was signing you in. So we are going to pick up right where we left off on the floating university of Quandir, flying above Quandir, flying above the town of Arcton. This university is massive. It's a series of interconnected islands that are connected by these like light bridges made of arcane magic, and each island like has its own biome of animals and plants gathered throughout the world. And probably with how old it is, there's a lot of stuff up here that is endangered species or doesn't exist anywhere except Quandir, except the university at this point. There's very old buildings, spires, a lot of like, every building here has a lot of verticality to it. So lots of floors. And when you guys came through the portal, there was really nobody except the man that greeted you there, but immediately like down off this raised dais, in all the different directions, the paths split off from this teleportation dais. There's a, it didn't blow up this time.
We're watching this meeting.
There are a lot of people, and it looks like just from where you guys are walking down the first couple steps from this raised teleportation platform, you can see easily 150, 200 students and teachers milling about. They're all wearing the same kind of gray, black, sometimes purple or gold highlight robes, and it looks like it's a very busy day in the university. Everybody has smiles on their faces and seems to just be going about life up here, but it is like you just stepped into an alternate dimension. I mean, you're used to teleportation and how you do step between, different points in the world, but it is so calm and serene and manicured up in the university, and you just stepped out of a muddy seaside, fishing town. So it definitely is a bit of culture shock. You do see that the students tend to dress probably in somewhat of a uniform where they have the robes, boots, etc. The teachers can kind of be spotted. They're a little more flamboyant in their dress, or at least they have a little bit more freedom to wear whatever they want. Most of them have a robe on in some capacity, but most of them have other clothing on and the robe like tossed over their shoulders or something. So we'll join back up with you guys at the top of the teleportation dais after Skalea and Vander came through. They both, or Skalea signed in, Vander already did. And Vander, make a perception check for the first roll.
I'm okay with that.
Fine, okay. That's a number,
12.
It's real, it's not
12.
imaginary. It's a whole number.
You already signed in when you were here the first time with everybody. So, you dragged Sick through. Sick made a huffing and gruffing about it and walked over and signed. When she signs, you notice that she just kind of scribbles. Like, she doesn't actually write her name. Like, it just is like that. But she puts the pen down and walks away after getting a pass, and the guy doesn't really seem to want to bother her about it, but she doesn't put her name down for some reason. But after that, you guys are all back together, standing at the top of the dais. So what are you doing?
Do you think that was...
Yeah.
What are
It's
we?
a very distinctive name.
What am I missing here?
We would never forget a name like that.
Yes.
ICAS would definitely not forget that name.
Yes, never.
Just like I definitely know that Sick's last name is Tilnormal.
Hey, you got it.
And not written at the top of my notes.
Hey, who cares if it's written in notes? That means that you still get to remember it. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes. So I feel like I should go talk to him subtly.
It would be important to figure out exactly where he fits into this, yes.
Yeah, and just see how much he wants to tell us. Or if we can confirm that it's actually a difference.
Well,
Like,
He does not
We get
know
like
we are
a date
aware
of
who he
birth, a
is,
zip
yes?
code of residence.
sorry, I didn't hear you.
He does not know we are aware of who he is, yes?
Right.
So,
So I
Hopefully
could just
not, yeah.
chit chat with him.
Who?
the man who signed us in.
The man at the
his
door.
name is Sinon.
He was not here for
You
that
were asleep,
conversation.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cass's teacher contacted us and informed us that someone named Sinon from this university had visited the Zyphoid roughly at the same time the problem started in the Feywild. We don't know for sure if this is related, but it is a very strange coincidence if it is not.
I'm gonna go talk to him.
Just be careful.
Definitely. I'm not gonna be like, hey, did you ever steal part of the Zyphoid? I'm not gonna open with that.
Hi, my name's Cass.
What's
Have you
your
ever
plan?
stolen part of the Zyphon?
What are you thinking?
Just find out what his role is here. You know,
Yeah, ask
where
him what he
he's the-
does at the university.
No,
where he's from. Mention I'm from Treetop. See if he's ever been to Treetop. Casual conversation.
He might think you're flirting with him.
It gets us places.
Well, I guess, yeah.
I'm just making sure you understand that he might think that.
I have flirted before. I mean, with Geo. So like,
This is true. This is
You've also flirted with Era.
what?
Era. You flirted with Era.
I did. I have flirted with a total of 3 people.
Look at that. Just
Yeah.
the credentials.
Even I caught on to that one. I
Yeah, that
don't
wasn't
catch on
subtle.
very often.
You flirted with
But
the
we do
bad
want
guy?
subtle now, right?
You flirted with the bad guy.
She's really cute. Oh, and there was Fespi. So I flirted with 4 people, but yeah, she
I mean, I was married to a crime lord, so I'm not judging you, but
That sounds-
and maybe I could turn her to the good side.
oh,
Oh, I believe
oh,
Thank you.
Six Flag.
I would be careful about that, but as long as you are comfortable with this route, then I think that is fine.
Yeah.
Just, try not to say anything that we should not know about.
Right. Yeah.
Go
Totally.
get him, champ.
Thank you. Appreciate the solidarity and support and confidence.
And if you're needing help, just let us know.
I'll scream.
Maybe something more subtle than that. We didn't want to go for subtle, right? Subtle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Word calls. Gotcha. So yeah, I will, like casually meander my way over, like, looking up the garden. It's gorgeous, but just like find my way back to that table.
I mean, considering you're only like 50 feet away, it's you can meander and pretend to look
I'm
at.
not gonna do a straight line. Like,
Yes,
we're
you can meander. There are a lot of pretty plants around the dais. It is where visitors, everybody enters the university, so of course they put a lot of work into landscaping it. So yes, you can take your time, but eventually walk over to the table where he is fussing with a stack of papers, having just signed some other visitors in as well.
Hey,
Hello.
so how long have you been with the university?
Oh, you kind of lose track after a certain amount of time. I think in the range of 117 years, give or take.
Wow, that is quite the career.
Yes, I hope to be here for another 100 if I can get tenure.
I hear it's a grueling process, so good luck with that for sure.
Well, you usually have to wait for someone to die or kill them yourself.
I'd love to help you, but he's got tenure.
Yeah.
Tenure.
Yeah, that. Oof. Okay. Well, what what department are you in? If you need someone to mysteriously disappear.
He raises an eyebrow for a second as he's not sure. Like, wait, is she going along?
No, I'm totally joking.
Divination.
Okay, cool. How'd you get into that?
As most people do, I have a bit of a gift for it, so that's why I got into it. And ever since I was a kid, I had a knack for divining, as they call it, and flipping a coin in someone's hand. Things like that. Tricks that led to an actual education and a pursuit of something high of. So we, of course, have the best facilities in the world and the best research in the world for any field of magic and pretty much any field of study, and divination is no different. So I sought out the university and was lucky enough to get an internship here and worked my way up.
Awesome. Um, so where are you originally from?
Quandir, born, native.
Oh, that makes it easy. The local university, then.
Oh, you'd think so, but actually, locals tend to have a harder time. They prefer non-Quandirians for a vast amount of positions because it brings in fresh blood and perspectives.
So then you must like really know your shit.
You could say that over time.
Very cool.
Then again, I do study divination, so I have a bit of an edge, getting ahead of others, as you can see.
Right. You're like, I know what these test questions are going to be. This is what I'll study.
Something like that.
Awesome.
Are you flirting with me?
Called it.
Isn't that obvious?
Someone picks up that phone.
I suppose most people don't tend to come whoever's working the desk and ask these sort of questions. So either you're a horrible spy, or you're trying to hit on me, or some third option that I have not been able to divine.
Wow.
Because considering that it is random chance that you happen to meet me here, all the professors have to rotate through this duty. I assume that there is some ulterior motive here at play, because you are just not asking these questions randomly when you could go look at the university.
The adventuring life can be really lonely, so you
You
know.
know that they have these things called brothels.
Sir, I'm a classy lady.
Oh, so you come to a university to get your taste.
I
Specific taste.
like. I value brain over brawn.
I do completely understand that. I am flattered. I am currently taken, though. I'm very sorry. Though if you go to the quad, I'm sure you could find all sorts of different brains to sink your teeth into.
I appreciate the recommendation.
Well, yes.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna go.
Enjoy your stay.
Okay.
How'd it go?
I didn't get the information I needed. I confirmed I was flirting with him. He is in a relationship.
Okay.
So I didn't get to the whole I'm from Treetop, have you been to Treetop part. So he's a divination professor from Quandir. And he's been here for
okay.
170 years.
Oh, okay.
We could, when we
So-
return to Quandir, look and see if there's any information about him, if he was a local there in terms of teaching. Not necessarily just at the university. See if he has a history of teaching there too.
We probably have like a staff registry here at this school too, right? Right?
Likely, but let's keep an eye out, make sure that we might be overthinking this, but it's just good to be aware that there might be somebody who is involved.
All of you overthinking something? Never.
Speaking of, he grabs her his brother.
Treetop has the weirdest social skills.
Yo.
I'm seeing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm starting to pick up on that myself.
Is everyone from Treetop like this?
Yeah.
Everyone I have met.
No, they're not! Said Thick.
Just the ones I have met.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what did
All
you
right.
what did you grab her and pull her aside, or what did you do? Okay, so
yeah.
you just pulled her aside. Okay.
Okay, speaking of.
Okay, so yeah, you can pull her aside into one of the gardens for a second. Well, while that happens, though, do you guys stay there, or does anything happen as you just see Vander
go.
grab the elf?
How about we meander that way?
Give them some distance. We'll just kind of head the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
Six, like, help me. No.
Where else are we heading to today? Where else do we have to go to at the school today while we're waiting to see?
This evening, I think, is
headmaster.
mostly just getting our bearings. It was.
And seeing if
It's-
we possibly can get a meeting with the headmaster scheduled.
Yeah.
So you guys are gonna wander for a bit?
Yeah, I
like, just
think
go for
kind of
not
just
too far
sit
away,
there,
but
like,
Kind of wander the central campus a
like
little bit.
campus map or something around.
there's a multitude of them. The main entrance to the university, though, is literally just up a small hill from what they would call the quad. And it is kind of like a pentagram intersection of a lot of the bridges and areas that have a lot of shops and probably some classrooms, and there's a large amount of people there. So you guys can go meander down there if you want, and you can see full maps of the university. I don't think I actually posted the new university art today. I will do that on break. But yeah, so you guys can go meander down there. You grab Sick and pull her up to the side on the garden, and she's just like looking at you very confused. What are you doing?
You seem upset.
Treetop social skills.
We're just very direct and to the point.
Yep. A strength and a curse. She like looks at you in like disbelief and like crosses her arms a bit and like glances around.
Are you okay?
He's doing this. I mean, I'm fine, I suppose. I said that I shouldn't come here because I'm sure I'm just going to put a bullseye on your back and everybody else's back like I always do. And I don't want to keep putting a bullseye on everybody. I wasn't any help to you in the forest, and I'm not going to be any help here, probably.
You're always a help.
I'm just a trollop.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, is that why you were so confused when Era was saying it?
Yeah.
Oh, probably. Okay. Not part of your treetop slang?
No.
Well,
Maybe.
I
don't know.
suppose I never heard the word at either. It's a woman who has had too many casual sexual encounters or relationships.
You've only had 2?
I've slept with more people than you and is.
No,
yes.
I mean,
I've had 3, but it's still an insult. So,
to yourself?
I suppose I wasn't expecting to debate. Anyway, I'm fine. I just feel a little like I'm a liability to you all right now, and I'm not helping with anything. And bringing me here is, I don't feel like it's a good idea because now that they've seen my face, they're going to start talking about a diplomat that showed up, and people might ask questions, and it might just draw attention. And if there are people waiting in the woodwork that could be a threat to you, maybe they're going to now know to jump you because I'm here. That's my worry, at least.
That makes
And
sense.
I mean, you figured out all your emotional stuff. You got new arms somehow and everything else like that. So I don't think you need me or anybody. I think you're good on your own. So,
I don't want to be on my own.
well, no, but just saying. But yeah, just I don't want to put a target on your back. So I'll try and lay low when we're up here and be of help if I can. So just a lot on my mind.
Hand on face.
Blink, blink.
Whom do you serve?
Just saw the hand from Skyrim.
You are irreplaceable, okay?
What makes me irreplaceable? There's a lot of elves in the world.
Just because you're one of a billion doesn't mean you're not one of a billion in terms of being unique.
I suppose so. Roll a perception check.
Okay.
Okay.
21.
Oh, 21, damn. This is gonna sound weird. And I'm gonna get a lot of laughs for it.
Okay.
Her face doesn't feel right.
What the
There's just something weird about it. It's really hard to put your finger on, but like you've caressed her cheek, you've put a hand on parts of her face before, and you're also looking at her. And when you went over and like comically did that, something about it isn't lining up for some reason. You can't really connect the dots on what, and you don't know if it's like maybe she's sick and has a fever or something like that. She's sick. Ha 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 ha. Maybe she has a fever. There's just something in the back of your head like that like itches a little bit of just like something doesn't line up there, but
finger, like thumb, I should say, like kind of like more like as if wiping
Start
something away.
Giving
sort
her
of
an
thing.
inspection.
yeah. It's like security. Security. Like you're wiping something away on her cheek. Okay. Yeah. A movement you have made before. And the same feeling just kind of tickles the back of your head of just something feels a little bit off. Like her skin doesn't feel right a little bit.
Do
So
you have some sort of illusion on you? I know you
No.
did the same thing with your armor, but you feel different.
Oh, I mean, I have the illusion on me for my armor most of the time, so I can summon it if I need to. And I usually keep protection from good and evil up, and a bunch of other spells that I cast daily, because it's just the life of, being on guard. So probably just picking that up.
This is different.
What are you picking up?
I don't know.
I don't.
It just makes it better because I can, with my crazy brain, like I can truly see the 9-foot tall furbolg
Yeah,
bending over, be like,
I
don't you
know.
know? It's amazing, right? And she kind of shrugs a little bit and goes, I mean, I stayed out all night in the rain. Maybe I'm sick or something, but beyond that, oh, everybody loves making that joke. I think it's probably one of those things, but nothing to worry about as far as I know.
Well, I did bring you here because we did say, or at least I said, that we would look and to see if a professor might know more about the soul and the healing and the spell that might have been cast on you and the tracking and.
I mean, you've been healing that already, though.
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's always more. I'm sure that someone here could help, like all of us, further with the spiritual healing process.
Maybe if you find someone, but yeah, that's what's going on with me. Just a lot of things on my mind right now. So hopefully I don't draw negative attention towards all of you.
You never do. And he's gonna undo the cloth that he always has wrapped around his waist.
Mm-hmm.
Small for him,
That-
but for her,
Much larger.
and
yes.
he's gonna wrap it around her like a shawl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she she still has a weird look on her face, but she lets him do it and kind of like tucks her hands into it afterwards and nods thankfully and just stares at the ground for a minute and looks like she's ready to go when you are.
And I almost forgot to do this.
What was that?
He takes out the locket that he had gotten from the shop.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, and then he puts it on her.
What's this?
I don't know what it does.
Wait, did you just
I
put a
don't
magical
know.
artifact around my neck that you don't know what it does?
I know vaguely that it's protection.
Oh, well that's.
I wouldn't have put it on you otherwise.
I mean, I figured, but it's just kind of funny to me that putting magical items on people. And she looks down, and it's the one that looks like the heart, right?
Yeah, it's
Like
like the red
Yep,
one.
the red one with the heart on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but that's a very Vander thing to do.
Yes.
Just magical artifacts. I thought it kind of looks nice. Here you go.
And you're cursed.
Yeah, and you're cursed.
What the hell?
You put a magical artifact on.
She just kind of looks at it, and you actually see the red crystal kind of glow faintly, just like a very faint, hard to see in the sunlight glow, but it seems to do something now that somebody's wearing it. And she just nods and smiles a bit and says, thank you. I bought you something at the shop too. I just need some time to finish working on it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he like adjusts it, makes it so it's like on her head to help with
kind
the
of
blend
hide.
in with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, easy enough to cover like considering most of her hair can be tucked away, you can hide her hair and her ears pretty easy, so it doesn't look like sick for the most part. So
Cool.
she doesn't have the distinct armor on either. So she nods and goes, well, maybe this will be a little bit better then, and I can just fade into the background. So just don't get worried if I vanish or anything, or if I stay outside while you guys are doing important stuff. So
Okay.
I said don't worry.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
And he goes on. Regroups.
Okay. She hangs back. She doesn't like normally she'd walk side by side with you, but she hangs back and actually walks behind you on the way back. But she follows, and then you guys catch back up with them in the quad as they're looking at one of the many like little kind of jagged crystals that come out of the ground that have a map of the university etched into it.
Cool.
And there are a lot of people milling around you guys right now. Nobody has given you a look like you don't belong, though. Once in a while, somebody might glance at you and toss a friendly smile and a nod, but otherwise, it's like you belong here.
Do we know where we want to start? Because there's a couple places we wanted to visit here, right?
Let's see exactly what we can find out about an appointment, but
They want to arrange where we're staying for the evening.
Oh, do we want to try if there's any option up here, or do we want to go back down?
They did mention that they had guest quarters, right?
Yes.
I remember that
Remember.
from last time.
Yeah.
I think this would be so much nicer than a fishing village.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with fishing villages.
Yeah, fishing villages are all right.
No, absolutely not. But like we've been on the road, like we've seen the coastal side of things.
Uh-huh.
This is a new
She
experience.
just wants to be fancy.
I do like this place.
She is a classy woman. I didn't hear that part, but it felt like the right thing to say. I don't know why.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, I mean, if they have places to stay up here, we can stay up here.
I'm cool with that.
It might be a good idea. I mean, makes us stand out a little less too, you know.
No.
And we don't have to sign in all the time.
All right, so we can look into that. So we can see what options we have if we need to research things on our own. There should be like a library or similar.
I think there are
And there's got to be
multiple
a
libraries.
library that the visitors can use.
As far as you can tell, like so far you haven't run into any. Nobody's told you. You haven't asked, and nobody's told you. But you know, so far you have the little visitor passes, and you don't know what you're restricted from. On the map, there's one library for the whole campus. It is centrally located. But you see everything, like everything's labeled on this map. So you see where the faculty offices are. You see how like each island has different specialties, and it's pretty much like different divination and evocation are on the same island kind of thing. And they have multiple classrooms and their own tiny libraries. But you have everything laid out before you, as far as you can tell. And it's logical that yes, you probably can't get everywhere with a visitor's pass. But right now, everywhere seems open and friendly. So, and there are names on there for common shops, places to eat, and there is a tavern located in the quad dead ahead that seems like it is probably the one that you would want to stay at as visitors. I mean, it's the only one that's labeled on the map too as a tavern or an inn sort of thing.
All right, well, let's get a room for a night or two.
Yeah.
See how things look in the morning. Well, I'm not sure if the library closes or not. If it does not close, maybe I can look around overnight. But we'll see what we can find out.
Yeah. Let's head over to the inn. Let's get ourselves a place to stay.
I was told the quad was the place to be.
Because you were flirting?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you guys make your way over, the very beautiful, probably handcrafted a very long time ago, crystalline, kind of glowing with magic sign that hangs over the front entrance of the tavern is the Sword and Chalice Tavern. And it, very much like Cass was kind of alluding to, is immaculate. It's beautiful. Looks kind of like an idealistic tavern from fairy tales where it's got plants growing outside of it. Every piece of wood looks like it's brand new and freshly polished. You swear there should be Disney, birds singing in the windows kind of thing. And it's probably enchanted to hell and back. In fact, actually, everybody in this party has a little bit of access to different kinds of magic. So walking into the Sword and Chalice, you feel a little overwhelmed, each one of you, in small different ways for a second as you step through probably 50 to 100 different enchantments of varying quality and importance, all the way down to making particular parts of it shine. But there's a lot of magic woven in this place. And yeah, you see a lot of students in here. You see a couple professors. You see people that are wearing plain clothes, kind of like you guys, that are probably visiting from the city or visiting. They could be prospective students. They could be visiting students or faculty members. And it's a 3-story building with the whole bottom floor is pretty much open to the outside elements. They're probably pretty protected up here, though. And it looks like there's 2 different sets of winding staircases at either end of the bar that lead up to the rooms.
Sonny, are you at all thinking about the invisible file? And what would happen if Gaspard was here with a dispel magic wand?
Oh,
Oh
Why
my
did you
goodness.
remind me of that?
You get hit with a bunch of enchantments, you're like, oh, a place that's heavily enchanted. Bakery, ghoul dust. It's a natural logical progression.
It's good that he's with the ship. That is a better place for them right now.
Yes.
news in Quandair. The university falls from the sky after I dispel magic. It's Gosh, it's thousands dead.
A national tragedy.
Jeez.
Let's see if there's someone who looks like the, innkeeper, tavern keeper.
You actually see no bar and no staff as far as you can tell. So you look around for a minute, do a perception check.
Eight.
Nice.
That clears the DC of 5, thankfully. In one corner, definitely like under, like it's near one of the stairs inside, even though it's a mostly open floor. You see a almost comically carved golem where it is very rough, almost pixelated in a way, kind of just jagged pixelated, and it's not moving, but you see a lot of runes on it that you actually understand, and it looks like all of the runes on there correspond to things you could get from a tavern, including renting a room.
Oh. We ran a room from that nice little golem over in the corner there.
You can get beer,
is
you
very
can get
helpful.
food, you can get all sorts of things. It just got all these different runes on there with coin slots as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, looks like we've got a little automated barkeep here.
Let's see if we can figure this out. Which one did you say was 4 rooms?
I'll touch the rune that is for rooms.
It
room and board.
morphs into a set of rooms that communicate the cost, and the cost is criminally low for 5 gold pieces a night.
Wow. Okay.
They're gonna get you elsewhere for your money if you're here.
How many people are staying in the room?
Man.
It doesn't seem to say.
Well, I guess we can take a look, and if we need more, we get more.
Yeah. All right. One room, or
I would say
wanna get
two.
two? Two?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 rooms. All right.
Okay.
I'll drop 10 gold coins into the automated barkeep there.
After you do that, the rune vanishes for a second, and some of the stone just extends, and a small little round disc pops out and just falls that you can easily catch. And then a second one does as well. And they just have little, like little miniature versions of this golem on them, and there's a number next to the golem. And it looks like you have 2 rooms on the 3rd floor.
All right, well,
Looks like we're up on the top floor.
Cute.
let's see what we have. Set a few things down and see about getting something to eat.
All right.
Okay, so you guys can make your way up the winding staircases, and you're in 306 and 307 right next to each other. And when you get up to these doors, the doors barely protrude from the wall, but there's a very obvious sort of indentation for the coin to be put in. And once you put the coin in, the doors unlock on each. And there is definitely yet more enchantment and magic at work here, is because when you step inside of these rooms, they are bigger on the inside. And each room has 2 beds, lavishly decorated. There are plants that have been freshly watered on the inside. There are full-size tubs with some sort of modern plumbing system inside, magical plumbing system. And the beds have all sorts of beautiful linens and sheets on them and pillows to match. Very nice. Probably one of the best places you've stayed at.
This is absolutely the best place I've ever been.
And to confirm, neither of these rooms are dragon themed, right?
Nope, these just seem to be that idyllic fantasy tavern theme here. Very clean, very Disney, very PG. No dragons.
Thank God.
How are we splitting the rooms? Who with who?
Well, probably you and second one.
I mean,
The 3 of us.
I mean, if they're sharing a room, yeah, I definitely don't want to be in that
I'm
room
not-
with them.
I'm not like that.
I'm sure you two would like to be
You guys
like
could have
that,
some
and you.
privacy.
Yeah, we're not gonna do anything nefarious.
6 here. 6 here.
making sure.
No, 6 like standing back against the wall, like watching the conversation with like a weird, like half amused, half like waiting to see
Oh.
what happens.
Oh,
Would you like to stay with him so you can explain to him?
I mean, I'm kind of split right now because on one hand, this is really funny. On the other hand, it's like, do you really think we're going to like bang all night or something?
Sorry,
About
we also
privacy.
didn't also mean to assume that you two have reached that level.
Yeah, you don't know.
So yeah, we were making that assumption, so we're very sorry.
Xander's a screamer, you'd know.
What?
See?
Yeah, exactly. I'm fucking with you. Which is what they think, yeah.
No,
it was a joke. God. But
So
It was a
you
joke.
two
It was a
have
joke.
then.
no, God, why are you so interested in my sex life?
She's kind of gossipy.
Oh, she's kind of gossipy. I think you're
Just
all
gonna hand the other room key to Vander.
I
And
don't
I'll
mind.
be like,
We can just share one and someone.
nope,
can have
I'm gonna go in the other room.
There are
Leave
excess
that.
beds. So you two can have a room. We'll make the other work. It's fine. It's totally fine.
Hey, Vander, we get our own room. That means we can push the beds together and have bigger bed.
Okay.
He might need that. I mean, he's pretty tall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that
don't know
doesn't...
how
Yeah,
big the beds
actually, you
are.
would need that, wouldn't you? We need to put them into... Oh, yeah, that's actually a problem.
How big are these beds? Look at them.
They're not 9 foot... They're not accommodating for a 9 foot tall fur blog.
He's not that tall, but pretty much what he would
You
need.
said he was... I thought you said he was 9...
He's 8 foot.
8 foot.
8 foot
Okay.
5.
8'5". Well, they're standard, like...
8.5 foot tall.
They're,
8.5.
they're,
Firm mistake.
they're standard twin beds, so it's like you'll have to put them together like Evander. So we'll
Sleep across him.
I mean, at this point, Vander is effectively a mattress himself. So.
he's comfortable.
Thanks.
But yes, we'll take that room. So are you guys actually wanting to rest now, though? I thought you had a lot of things to do. I can
setting
stay
up
here.
Mostly set things down.
I can stay here and hide out while you guys make stops, unless there's a stop you want me involved with.
I want you involved
Okay.
because we have to take a look at both of the things going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. So what's first?
I imagine he's referring to the aura, the protection
The aura
aura
and
that he
the
saw.
the tracking spell on sick as well.
Low priority, but
High priority.
But I
That's
thought
high
we decided
priority.
business wasn't happening tonight.
What?
I
Wait,
thought
what?
business wasn't happening tonight.
What business?
is this
Like-
another sex thing?
I'm sure that is not.
No, I thought we were waiting to hear about appointments from people. So are you just gonna like go around start
Oh,
bugging faculty? I
Just
thought we were
because
just...
we're waiting for the headmaster doesn't mean we can't.
make other inquiries.
Yeah, we can visit the schools that would relate to. I'm not big on magic schools. I really only kind of know the one. So, whatever school would be dealing with
Even I don't know.
the magic that we're. Sonny's pretty. You seem pretty arcanically inclined.
What?
Might be able
I
to at
don't have
least.
this kind of education.
We can figure out which school we should go to know which professors to talk to. You know,
Well, generally,
We don't wanna
this
go
kind
to-
of thing.
evocation for something that's
These
related
would normally
to
fall under
divination.
enchantments,
Okay. So enchanting.
but I can't say for sure. We don't really know what's going on. It's
It's definitely a good place
hard
to
to
start.
define
It's a
it.
place to start. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a place to start.
And then I would like to definitely either I go or, as you said earlier, in the night, if the library isn't closed during the night, to look at books.
I have a few things that I'd like to look for when we don't have other options. It's everyone else has to sleep. I don't. You know.
And if that works out, could you find some books for me?
If you can make a list of what you're looking for, I can try.
Quite literally anything about the astral self.
Okay.
Okay.
narrows it down.
In relation to the spirit and healing and stuff. I want to see if I can't find any more information that could help me learn more and then teach you all. And then be able to heal you guys better.
I see. Okay. Well, I will keep this in mind.
If you don't know a lot about magic, this is a good place to learn.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I had more time to just stay here and learn for a while.
We could always come back.
I'm sure.
I mean, when things are more settled, maybe.
We could also say fuck the rest of our quests and just chill here. We don't have to be heroes.
That's
Oh, God.
what Era wants.
I know.
Yeah, it's right.
When she puts it like that, though, it's actually kind of a convincing argument. That is valid. Arrow was kind of right in that way that you could just, if you guys could retire here or do something like that. There's nobody holding any feet, nobody's holding your feet to the fire, sort of thing. If you wanted to stay here for months, you could. Why not? What?
Yes.
Obviously we can't, but
Yeah.
It's not in my plan, but
Yeah.
You guys can do what you want to do.
I would rather try to make things a little bit, no, clean up some of these messes at least.
Yeah, me too.
Sure.
So dinner and then the library.
Sure. I'm
We
cool
can
with that.
start with that today.
In the rooms since they're adjacent,
Mhm.
is there like a unifying door?
There is a door between them.
Between
yeah.
the two.
Keep that
Yeah.
open.
Oh, you can do that.
I assume that's how we're talking right now.
I figure
I
from the
mean,
hallway.
we're in one room or in a
Yeah, like
hallway.
Yeah.
On the other sides of the doorway splitting the room.
Shouting
Yes.
through the wall.
You can
Yeah.
you can also open the door between them. Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Also, we've been on the road a few days. Some chance to clean up would be nice.
I agree.
There are showers and
Mhm.
baths here, so
Set up personal stuff in effects in the room
Mhm.
for when they come back.
yep.
Okay, so we bathe, we have dinner, we go to the library.
Sounds
That
good.
sounds like a good idea.
All right.
It sounds like an elegant evening.
Well, yes, we're elegant people.
Feeling so
She's
fancy.
a classy lady.
Elegant.
Yeah.
All right.
I shower first.
I grab you and
I mean,
no. The
The
one with the most hair doesn't get to shower.
Well, just to clarify,
gonna
does
clog
each
your
room have their own
There's
bathroom?
Yeah,
each room has their own shower and
Yeah.
bathroom set. So
Okay,
yeah,
well,
Vander can shower
I guess
in the
you and
Yeah.
Stick can fight over which one gets to shower first.
You realize Furblog don't really shed, right?
We shed during the winter months.
This is the,
I mean, but not as
this is
not
the
like
first dog
Furblog?
man I've ever met.
dog man.
We've never met one. You wouldn't know what it's called.
I'm not
A furball? Okay.
I'm a furball.
You're kind of a
Furballs
dog.
are not.
I am a fey being.
Okay.
They're
but
not
I'm
related to canines.
at
Okay.
all.
As much as his tail does wag.
Yeah.
Lots of creatures have wagging tails, though. Like that's a thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
You got a wagging tail?
No, I don't have a tail. I'm a half elf.
Oh, well, you could have fooled me.
Daddy bitch.
You kind of walked into that one. You kind of walked into that one.
We have a lot of pointy ears in this party.
I like them all.
Are Saudis ears pointed?
No,
Okay.
Sonny's a
That's
human.
Say what?
she's technically a human. She's just turning into a shark
I
because of her pack.
know that. I just didn't know if the ears were something that changed specifically.
No,
Well,
she just
sharks
has
don't have ears.
Say what?
Sharks don't have ears.
If anything, they would be slowly disappearing.
Yeah.
Okay, fuckers.
Nuances.
Everybody goes to shower and clean up of their own ways and devices. Thankfully, Vander probably brings extensive conditioner with him wherever he
Yes,
travels.
if it's not the winter months,
With the powder.
Yeah.
the shower is
Yeah.
totally fine.
Okay. So everybody gets cleaned up and gets a fresh change of clothes and, gets to just have some space and catch their breath a little bit from all the travel and definitely feel way more like yourselves now that you've had a bit to, get off the road, get out of that seaside town and just live it up a little bit in the clouds, as it were. So about an hour and a half later, you all kind of reconverge outside the rooms, ready to go get some food and then the library. So where are you guys going to? Are you just going to get something from the tavern? What you doing?
Yeah, probably just go to the tavern and then start heading out and seeing how much more time we have to actually look at things this evening.
Okay.
Go down to our automated innkeeper downstairs and order us some food.
It's kind of hard for you. You'll have to take a minute or two and maybe even let some other patrons go because they start to queue up behind you. Because the runes quickly for the food kind of get outside even your level of expertise of just I think that is some kind of a stew. I think. What is that? And it takes you you can kind of guide people around it. It seems like every dish is very, very high end for the most part, have lots of ingredients to them. But it's the same thing of where you press the rune that you want, you insert the gold, it gives you a chit, and then you go to the other side of the bar where there's like a furnace, put the chit in, and the food is magicked there, probably from a kitchen somewhere else. So you guys can each, with Alil's help, find some food or something that you'd like to try. Whatever it is, it's going to be delicious. It's just, it takes a bit to navigate the menu.
Okay.
So easy for you all to get some food and grab a table and sit down. And you get to people watch to your heart's content because there are a ton of people coming and going. And you keep seeing more faculty than you might expect at a place like this. And there's actually a table, 3 tables over, where it looks like it might be all faculty at this point. And 2 of them have robes on. The others have thrown their robes over the back of their chairs. And you see an adorable, eclectic collection of people because they just seem like characters where if you saw them out in the world, you might want to strike up a conversation kind of thing if they were by themselves. Kind of intimidating, the table full of them. But there's a really stocky dwarf that looks like he could be a bodybuilder, just completely built, pinnacle of health, but is wearing this sort of bandolier with moving, ticking little like automatons on them and little clocks and stuff. There's a girl there that has a backless top on, and her back is some of the prettiest tattoos that you've ever seen that seem to radiate kind of like a low arcane field or warble to them. And she's got bright orange hair, and she seems to be talking to the dwarf very excitedly. And then the other ones at the table, there's a Eladrin there who looks like they are a spring Eladrin, and they are wearing some kind of like multicolor plate armor that seems to shift under the light. Each one of them looks like they probably have a story that they could tell, kind of thing, and they're sitting close to you guys.
Any of them a dragonborn?
Say what?
Any of them a dragonborn at the table?
No. At that table, there would be an elf. You can't tell what the girl with the orange hair is. You think human. So elf, human, dwarf, Eladrin. Would there be anybody else at that table? And then another dwarf, a female dwarf on the other side. But there's no dragonborn there.
Okay. For the context we need to talk to, we know we have a dragonborn, and then who else?
Yespros is a drow.
Okay. Is that an Eladrin?
Oh, no. I'm like, yes, I need a drink. Thank you for the hydrate, Jim June.
No.
Do you want to find one?
Those tattoos are kind of fascinating, but no, I'm biased.
Well, they do seem really cool.
They're pretty impressive.
I will walk over to them.
Of course you will.
Bandit was just like, social propriety, we're just throwing that right off the island.
I mean, that is kind of the entire party's theme most of the time, though, to be fair. Okay, so you walk over to the table of unknown faculty members, and as you walk over, we'll actually see really quick, see something. The table kind of falls quiet, but it actually looks like most of them are kind of sheepish as you walk over, like just like, oh God. And like the female dwarf goes like this, and the Eladrin becomes very interested in the food. But the dwarf and the lady with the orange hair like look over their shoulder at you and smile, and the lady goes, "Can I help you?"
Hi.
Hi.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
No, we're just getting together for a drink after work. What's up?
Oh, nice. I had a couple questions. I probably, as a guest, I guess is kind of, you get it a lot, I assume.
We get it a lot, but we're also eating at the visitors bar because the food's really good, so we're kind of asking for it. But I'd be happy to answer your questions so my shy compatriots can keep eating.
Oh, thank you. First one is, does the library close at all, or is it constant?
The main library? No, the main library is always open. For visitors as well, just there are some restricted sessions, but if you're looking to get into one of the more specialized libraries, they close rather early in the evening.
Okay. And then we're looking for a couple people. What are the names again? Looking to cast.
It's like,
Yespros?
Yesperos?
Yespros.
We're looking for a Yesperos and
the lead of the divination?
Mhm.
Yes.
Divination.
I think so. Yes. I was wondering which wing or where exactly we might find them.
Well, if you can get over tomorrow during classes, he'll be at the actual wing for divination. Once it's closed down like it has now, I don't know where the man would be. I'd say getting him tomorrow during actual class hours, over in the divination wing, probably your best chance to try and find him. He has an office there, and if you show up early, you can probably find him.
What time?
I'd say right when the sun comes up, usually for him, because he has a large class load. So you should get him in the morning if you can.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And then a few other things. What is the quickest way we can talk to the headmaster?
Oh,
It's something actually really serious.
something really serious. You'll have to forgive my smile.
No, it's okay.
Usually, most people don't ask for the headmaster. A lot of people ask for the headmaster. Most don't have a good reason.
Ah,
I'm asking if you have a good reason.
I would like to think so. It's or we all would really. It's rather a matter of national or even global security.
All right. I mean, you know how that sounds.
He's kind of being quiet with that too, as best he can.
Amber,
Crying.
that one can.
Crying.
Sorry, we've already made inquiries. I think he's just nervous, you know?
He gets excited.
We didn't get very far with the gentleman at the table.
It was also evening.
Yeah.
If there are ways to reach the headmaster faster than the normal channels, I assume, did you make an appointment or something?
We were trying to see if we could find one.
All right. If you get a member of the faculty to vouch for you, you can see the headmaster much faster.
See, that's what I was looking for. I'm not stupid.
I did not say that.
I don't
He gets kind of anxious about these things. I'm sorry.
I mean, I deal with students every day. It's not that uncommon at all. You just have to find a professor, preferably a professor that you can ingratiate yourself to, that believes your story and will vouch for you.
Ah,
Do we get the sense that Professor Sinon wants to vouch for us?
I don't know. Someone spent more time around him than we have.
I guess this would be a better question for you all. But how should we go about finding a professor to tell all of this to that
Well,
we can trust?
Maybe we start with yes,
Yes,
bros.
bros.
Yeah.
He was recommended to us. He's a divination professor. He's related to what we want to ask Peppermint about. So
Thank you for your information. We appreciate it.
I'm sorry, we
Thank
didn't
you.
catch your name.
Professor Clementine.
Like the orange.
Yes.
Imagine that.
Yes,
yeah,
my
happens in
colleagues
character.
quite like telling me.
sorry, he's just like this.
Yeah, she states the obvious.
It's just how he is.
Yes.
I think.
He means well.
What are you a professor of?
Multiple things, but if you're asking what I do at the university, specifically as in the classes that I teach, enchantment.
Did you do any work on the tattoos you have? Those look very
I don't like
interesting.
to think that happened.
No, that's all canon. That happened. Yeah. I designed the tattoos on my back. I obviously couldn't do them myself. For
The logistics of that would be very difficult, yes.
possible though. But yes, I designed them. They're a multi-function arcane creation that I worked on for over 50 years, and they're part of my research that led to my tenure here at Quandir.
That's very fascinating. They're very eye-catching, you know?
Thank you.
You wear them well.
Say what?
You wear them well.
Oh, I thank you. If they have to be a permanent piece of my body, I wanted them to at least be pleasing to look at. It would be much easier to make an ugly mess of arcane tattoos to accomplish the goal that I had in mind, but working the aesthetics into it actually are a reason that the research took much longer than it expected.
Are you
I understand what you mean, yes.
are you saying that you made like the process of arcane tattoos, or is this like a specialty that you studied?
I don't know if I could say that I invented them, but I am one of the mothers of them, people would say.
He's glowing.
I have contributed largely to the field of research with magical tattoos, and a lot of the enchanted inks and processes that you find in the world now probably have come from at least some part of my research.
That's
So,
amazing. I dabble in it a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then I bet you've read some of my works then.
Probably then. That's so cool. But back on topic. We were actually looking for the enchantment professor.
Well, you found her. Well, one of them. There's a
Um,
lot of us, but I'm one of the senior professors.
I don't want to take more time away from your evening, so is it possible that we could talk to you tomorrow or something about inquiries that we have about some really powerful magic?
Perception checks, everyone?
13.
17.
15.
7.
Okay, so everybody except Alil. You all, as you're saying that to her, you realize like over the past minute or two, you've been all excitedly talking. You heard a couple creaks and shifts and groans and slides and stuff. And as you say that, you realize she's the only one at the table anymore. And the rest of them, like, thankfully, like, ducked out and didn't want to have to answer questions and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah. Well,
you're like, oh yeah, a couple
distracted.
people, like the dwarf actually shot her, like, thanks, kind of later, kind of thing.
Distracted.
And now it's just her sitting there, and she kind of like looks at the empty table and goes, "I have regular office hours, or you can bug me now if you want."
We'll come back during regular office hours.
I am so sorry for being
Yeah.
interrupted.
I mean,
evening.
everybody else already left. If you want to ask me questions, ask me questions. I don't care. I already had dinner and got my drink, so I'm fine.
I have one question. Who could I talk to at the school to maybe talk to about the processes of sending magic? Who might be an
Processes
expert
of-
on like sending magic, scrying, that sort of thing?
I mean, it crosses disciplines. Technically, that's divination with scrying. Sending itself is a little bit of it's a little bit of my area. It's a little bit of Kessa's area. It's a little bit of everything. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you'd hope to achieve with it? Are you thinking of like proposing a research project or?
I was wondering about the theoretical possibility of being able to track sendings.
Is if you had a target and you wanted to track when they cast the spell, or something more specific?
Yeah, kind of like that. Maybe theoretically, if you could intercept a sending and maybe track its origin location.
It's an interesting use case. I would say that your best bet is probably going to be with my department and then divination, because technically scrying and most of those spells and tracking, a lot of that would be divination, but technically any spells that control the mind or influencing others are enchantment. So it's a little cross discipline. So I'd say probably a mix. I've heard of such things being postulated before, but I've never actually seen it in action. Are you trying to track someone?
I mean, it's just a kind of a little project I'm working on. Yeah.
Well, if you wanted to ask me questions now, you're free to, or I will return to my home for the evening, and you can catch me tomorrow if you'd like.
The only inquiry I have right now for you specifically is our friend has a tracking spell of sorts on them, and I would like to see if we could get that removed somehow.
Probably easily enough. Have you taken the normal sort of routes with like greater restoration, dispel magic, things like that before you came to the university, or?
I'm not a caster myself, but
It's not the kind of magic I practice, unfortunately.
so yeah, well, none of us can really do that, I don't think.
So you need probably the basic care, but you also think that it could be something more, I'm
Oh,
assuming?
It's definitely more, because
Okay.
when I look at her spirit, there's something attached to it.
Attached to her spirit?
Yes. Oh,
He is an astral healer.
yes.
I was guessing something like that, but just that terminology is quite vivid.
Think of it like you have your energy, and then there's immediately someone else's looming above it.
Yes, yeah. someone looming above it. That is...
It was a component of a curse that she was hit with, so we are thinking it is probably not just some run-of-the-mill spell, you know?
You should bring them by my office then, and I can try a couple different things on them.
Sweet. I assume Sick is there. Look at her.
She didn't walk over
She's
with
probably
you.
at the table.
Yeah,
still.
she's at the table. She didn't walk
Oh,
over with you guys.
She's right there.
No,
Point to her.
She glances over at like the hooded figure who's trying not to make eye contact. Like, I'm sure if they were open to me examining them, I could take a look and try some of the common things like dispel magic. But if it is as complicated as you say, it would be interesting for me to look, and I would be happy to take a crack at seeing what's going on with her.
What time tomorrow would you prefer?
My classes are finished for the week, so anytime that you'd like to stop by.
Okay, cool. Thank
it's
you.
very appreciated. Kiitos.
Of course, it's what we do at the university. You'll find most of my colleagues are shy, if anything, and they don't mind the questions most of the time because that's why we're here, to spread knowledge and to educate. So if you have questions, ask people, even if they seem like they might be shy.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
There are a few of us that are outgoing, at least.
We appreciate all your help. We do.
Of course. Was there any other questions that you had?
Not that I can think of.
Nothing that can't wait.
Could we buy you a drink? Because thanks.
I actually don't drink, but thank you. I do appreciate it. If you do like drinking, there are a multitude of drinks here in the university that I would highly recommend. I just tend to stay away from alcohol these days with how it interacts with certain types of magic. But
Fair.
Do you like tea?
I love tea.
Get out his specialty.
And like she immediately smells it and like, you just carry that with you?
I have a whole bunch.
You are an interesting person.
Person group doesn't even begin to describe him.
I will take that as a compliment. And he's gonna give her a pouch.
Awesome. Of like just the tea leaves.
Yeah.
Awesome. So she takes it and like sniffs it and nods appreciatively and says, well, I will appreciate this tonight when I am reading. And she stands up after that and tosses a couple gold on the table to pay for the table's bill probably, and then nods to you all and walks outside. And you guys, as she leaves, once she's outside, you see the tattoos. I mean, I'm sure Sane probably would be the one that specifically noticed it, but everybody would probably catch it as the tattoos kind of flicker and shine and shimmer as she walks outside, and then suddenly a big pair of angel wings appear from the tattoos. Like the tattoos are generating a set of arcane wings pretty much, and she goes into the air and
That
just
is
takes
a
off.
Very useful tattoo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, to the library?
I'm going to finish what I got to eat first, but yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait, we're not
We did a lot of talking.
Finish our meal here.
All over.
Yeah.
We felt inclined to
Not to leave
Assist.
you
assist.
stranded there.
I
flailing.
thought it was okay. Okay, go to eat then.
Sick is curled up in her chair over there, and she's been drinking/eating some seafood soup that she got, and just was waiting for you all. But yes, you can go over and finish your meals.
Yummy.
Well, you might have someone who can look at the spell on you.
That you trust?
They seemed fairly trustworthy.
I mean, I hope most people here would be, I guess. So,
I mean, she had angel wings, not demon wings.
but were they
like
really
that's a
angel
little,
wings, or were they just a spell?
Spell.
She
It's
looks
a
like an
spell, I'm
angel.
Sure. Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Is
That
that
just
just
to try
you?
her flirting again.
Is that just you flirting?
No.
She would have to be here for Cast to flirt with her.
She was told that the quad was the place for flirting, I guess.
You weren't there. I was just told it was the place to be.
Ah,
Yeah, seems trustworthy.
We'll be going tomorrow at some time.
all right. So then, what's the plan for the rest of the night? Library?
That was my plan,
Yeah.
yes.
I suppose I could come look at some books.
So decide who is going to be looking for what then.
I'm gonna look for some books on the astral self, the art of healing, and
I'm going to be doing research on Treetop and the Xiphoid.
very good.
Emil, is there anything you're going to be looking for?
Yeah, I'm gonna see what books they have on sending stones and sending runes.
I guess I'll be going through histories then. I want to see what we can find out about Uni, if there is more written that my people don't know, and maybe we can find out some things about, well, people affiliated with Hell or High Water that could be famous enough to have something written about them here, you know?
Mm-hmm. So we're both going to be in histories, probably.
Probably. Just dab Thulu in chat, making me laugh.
As he does.
As he does. As he does. All right. So you guys finishing up your food. Anything else you want to take care of before you get to the library, or are we just heading over?
Can't think of anything.
No,
Okay.
I think that's on.
Yeah.
So the library is a short walk away, and it is probably the tallest building on campus. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. The library is the tallest building on campus and goes up into little clouds that float above the university. You do not know how many floors it has, but at least 10 floors from what you can tell. The lighting is low as it is evening, but as you guys walk up the grand steps to this library through the stone pillared entrance, it smells delightful in here of aged parchment, fresh parchment, and ink mixed together. And there is like 30 people on the ground floor you can see poking in and out of the stacks, and there are plenty of signs to denote the different areas of the library. And you do see a couple staff. You don't know if they're professors or what kind of faculty they are, but they're floating around answering questions and helping people. And you can each find the different section that you're looking for. So if you want to go to history, you can go to history. If you want to go towards healing in general as a category, so you'd probably go towards like the healing arts area. And then finding an area for sending would be technically, you'd have to bounce between enchantment and intimidation, but you'd be able to find it. So you're all going to find information for what each one of you will find some information. To help flavor it a little bit, we're going to do some rolls right before we go to break. So everybody is going to roll their own very D100.
I love those.
I know you love those. Your favorite.
Your favorite.
Weird.
Ray, what'd you roll?
61.
61. Not nice.
No. I hope not. I hope it's nice, at least in some degree.
It's almost nice.
32.
32.
It's almost nice.
It's almost
Vale?
Sorry, I was getting the correct dice.
Dustin?
44.
Nice. Got a 61, 32, 44. And a... Spit it out, Hedda.
Yeah, hey, come on. There we go. 35.
35, okay. It's a very close spread, actually. 32, 35, 44, and then the 61, the outlier. So you each head off to your own area of the library as the gentle candlelight kind of makes you feel that it's later than it actually is. And you spend some time going through a large section of books. And when we come back from break, we'll kind of talk about what everybody found of note for there. And if there's additional details, I will send it to you in DMs later. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and take our quick break so we can swap the camera batteries out, give everybody a second to get new drinks for hydrates and stuff like that. We will be leaving the microphones on like we typically do. So we're going to go to the break screen, but you're still going to hear the studio. So if you have any questions for us or just want to nerd out about PDT or other nerdy things like the new Cyberpunk expansion per se, or other stuff, please keep chatting with us. But we will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes, and we will continue tonight's episode of PDT then. So we'll see you in just a bit, but we're actually not really leaving. Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm going to track down Anna East.
What?
Whose name I totally know.
You just said it. That was actually an Anais and Magnar cameo, but I can't do Magnar's voice, so just the how-to for dummies. Okay. Yeah. I see. James does a beautiful Magnar voice, and I cannot do James. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
They all have tenure now.
Yes. In my eyes, Anais and Magnar both have tenure at the university, and Anna teaches enchantment, and Magnar is a artificer instructor. So, what did you just do, Ray? On yourself or just in general?
Oh, my leg. I'm fine.
Bro. Magnar is a forge cleric, was a forge cleric, but Magnar was getting into artificing, and that was a thing that, like learning to be an artificer, learning about artificing. So I'm just being silly, and yeah, James just said that's okay. I can't do Anaisa's voice, so yeah, Anna's always had that like more husky voice, and Magnar has a deep, booming, I guess, dwarven voice.
I mean, it's a fun little nod.
Okay. I did. It's my smile. You just didn't see my smile. Shampoo.
Yeah.
Ulrich. Ulrich.
A little overwhelming. Very cool. I'm super excited he's happy enough to come back. Again, for me. You made it. I will be happy to see you.
We had the only people on that channel at one point. We had like 10 or 12, like 200 people. There was one point when everyone was just making fun of like, say what? Yeah, I could be not do that.
Yeah, I'll do it here. Can't get it anywhere else.
You get to get most of it.
Oh.
If you want. We established hi. You know what? Take this. You open up. What are you going to do now? Thank you.
I see a bunch of people are like, oh, I left my phone, but we're just not gonna hang out. Oh my god, you have bat leggings.
Yep. I've had these for like a year.
Right, but I've just noticed them, and it's October, so it's fitting.
Oh, next week is gonna be fun. I might still be on narcotics.
Mm-hmm. Decided this is the moment that Cass decides to do something. I'll make sure the player is capable of consulting.
God.
Technically. But it was one of those things where I was technically on for full time, but I got part time. But I also got a lot of part time.
I can't even imagine like what that's actually gonna look like if she tries.
But I also was
Well, you'll at least know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be obvious.
Unlike Cass, who didn't realize you were flirting when we met.
Uh-huh.
She didn't know that was an option.
Poor baby gay.
I just love that we did capture Cass's gay awakening on camera.
That's an option? I'm pretty sure I clipped that one.
I think so, actually. Because, you tried to help with the whole, like, hey, you just might not be into men. So Cass took that as your ace.
Uh-huh.
Because that had to be the only other option, right?
Oh, Cass.
Mm-hmm.
Poor gay baby.
Yeah.
I mean, considering what you have to walk to work now. Ridiculous for me. I mean, if I like,
Just trying to take the game's pants off.
how dare you? I thought you were a gentleman. That's all
Still working through Baldur's Gate 3 over there?
Yes. I've played so much for the last 2 days, and I haven't progressed very far.
Still in Act 2?
That's how that game goes.
Yeah, because I'm right around Moonrise Towers, the entrance.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's just like a ton of super hard fights you can get into.
Oh, the best
Yeah.
part is that like all of those fights have an alternate solution.
There's a lot of them to do. In
Yeah.
that town, you're in the town around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the Shadowlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 big fights in that town are all actually optional.
Yeah, I talked my way through. I talked my way through one,
Mhm.
and then when something else killed me, I didn't save.
Oh.
So it was like, we'll just send you way back. And I was like, what?
Gotta take care of advantage of that quick save button.
Yep. Another, I was like, oh, well, we'll get back to that. And then I just wandered elsewhere. And then another one that I know is coming up, that did manage to kill me. Like, you can deny it, but, I can't do it for my boo.
Mm.
So, I have to fight the monster. For love.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that bastard decided, like, not to participate in a fight.
Uh-huh.
Because he was, like, hidden or something. So he didn't follow the group into the library. I was like, wait a second, where the fuck's this stair? And he's like creeping out the hall. I was like, get your ass in there. Get in here. I'm like, I see. Kira saying she loves peppermints and I love peppermint.
no relation here.
No,
Other than that,
it's very common.
And I really like
Korea something.
dark chocolate. I like most kinds of chocolate, but dark chocolate.
So scale of 1 to 10, how badly does Leo think he's fucked up at this point?
So
Dark chocolate.
it's just the parts that just keep revealing themselves. He's really he's weighing things. He's taking all the information.
It's like, okay, you're well-meaning idiots.
Yeah. Definitely one. That's a description of one one person. That's a very apt description of one person.
I mean, really, it hits all of them in different ways.
Yeah, mostly socially awkwardness for the others, but there's certainly one well-meaning I see what you
Yep.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Oh, right.
Last night, they had tricks out there. I was like, I need to go back to DDT and get a soundboard to say I need to do the good super cut.
I have a soundboard sound online.
Ideally, if I have to get be like a 30-second super cut away from all of the and then at the end, it would be something like you would say. Because he used to be like, ooh, all the time. Because you speak all the time with everything. Exclamations are loud in general. Not the 30 things.
The response.
I mean,
That's pretty was fantastic.
You realize who has to say it when it's directed at Vander, right? I said, you realize who has to be the one who says it when it's directed at Vander, right?
That would be the shit prestidigitation and minor magic was used for around houses. It's fixing squeaky shit and like household objects. No, it's one of my favorites too. That's why I didn't staff it up that's squeaking. It's all mine. You are signals.
The way you said that made it sound like a cry for help. I can't feel my feet.
You can't feel your feet?
Would you look at that? The feet are
Oh my fucking god. What a nerd.
wow.
Wow, Justin.
Wow. The essentials. Whichever cat you need.
Two cat cafes. There's two. There's the cat cafe and then there's the one black cat coffee, whatever. I haven't heard of them. They have one The other one is smaller, but they have some cats up there coffee.
Adorable.
I got tickets for it. It just wouldn't let my clinical indicator register for tickets. But I registered for 5, and I think we can keep the one QR code for all of them. I told her it was probably because the registration was closed. She got the tickets and then got an email saying that the doctor card or she has to I don't see it. And she was like, why? Yeah.
Your pet tubies.
I texted you. What? What do we need for sponsoring? I mean, that's a very good our main sponsor. Yeah, they probably put a lot. Now the question changed. So they were going to sponsor for about 4,000. Yeah, from that. Yeah, I figured that.
It's adorable. I want it.
I work.
Isn't that adorable?
Wow.
Yeah.
Rude. Tenure is required to mess with it. I think the island floating magic is probably pretty locked down at this point. So
Way to come to that conversation late.
is it possible for our party to crash this floating university?
Yes.
Probably not. I mean, they could try that.
It sounds like a challenge.
Fucking ship.
Oh
What's a
my
ship?
God. All right,
Some
ladies and gentlemen,
Can
and
we crash
Dimity
it
and
now?
everyone
Okay.
else in the audience who's been waiting, we are back.
It just happened to be the best idea.
Or we're getting back. We're all sitting down at the table. And we're like, oh, we're back, and we have cameras now. I mean, we never really left. We just shut the cameras off for a minute so we can get new drinks for hydrates and to stay hydrated.
cameras are frozen. Like, we're frozen
Are you frozen?
at a weird spot.
Some of our cameras seem to
Oh,
be
they don't get
frozen.
reset. The batteries changed, but I don't think the inputs got reset.
Oh, Riva, our cameras seem to
Curious.
be frozen.
Not frozen.
Yeah.
It's from the battery change.
Yeah, they didn't reset the battery change.
Because I didn't go to
Stand
studio.
by 1 second.
I didn't go to studio mode, so.
That's fine. We have time.
Do we though?
It's not like they need to
I mean,
Don't you? I just look over and Ray's staring at me with the raised eyebrow.
Another characteristic, Treetop is very sus.
Yeah, Treetop is very well. Some of us from Treetop are sus. Others of us are high class.
Sick, get on our level.
I think we're the sus ones from Treetop.
Say what?
We're sus.
Yes,
Yeah,
and so
you're
I'm saying
thanks
all
for
of us.
pointing that
from-
out.
So I'm making it a general trait of all of Treetop based on our party of two.
She already had her sus arc early in her life.
See, so it's a tree talk.
Tree talk.
I don't
Tree
know.
talk?
Her
talk
face felt
arc.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, her face felt
pretty
weird. That's
suspicious.
sus.
She's very sus.
Yeah, that's pretty suspicious.
Yeah. Swear to God, you guys.
Well, only one person knows about that, so.
Yep.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
doesn't know what to
too
think
bad
about
this party never talks about suspicious fucking things to each other.
He doesn't know what. He doesn't know how to handle
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
He's
I
like,
get that.
yeah.
How to
That
handle.
is not something
Yeah,
that
handle it.
dropped into
Fair.
Vander's head as something he should share. No, that's.
No, I know.
That
Yeah,
is
when I
not
touched my girlfriend, she felt weird.
This
Welcome
is why
to
you
I
have
just
your
saw
own
two people
room.
join. I just saw two people join the Twitch as Ray said that. Two people joined the Twitch as you said that.
Nice.
So, yeah. So, hi everybody, welcome to
That's the
Prismatic
dream,
Dragonfly
is to get
Tavern,
that
where it's
to be the
D&D
people's
5th
first impression.
edition actual play, where nothing but shenanery happens all night. So we're back from our break. Thank you for waiting for our break, where we got rehydrated and some of the silliness out of our system, at least I thought we did. We're going to go ahead and pick back up at the library, where everybody has been researching their different subjects here at the floating university above the nation of Quandir. So, we had a bunch of people do their rolls. We had everybody do their rolls before we went away. And we're going to start with lowest to highest. So, Jillian, aka Cassiana, aka Cass, you went to research a couple different things. Why don't you tell us about those things in the order of which you looked for them?
Well, I started with maybe some general history of Treetop, but mainly focusing it on the xiphoid, and especially was looking to see if there were any publications by our favorite divination professor,
Yes.
about his time in Treetop studying the xiphoid.
So, considering how integral the xiphoid is to the world of Akora, there is an entire section of the library dedicated solely to it and the study of it. So you are overwhelmed with choices of where you could look. A quick search through the authors will tell you that this professor that you're looking into has never published anything in this section, as far as you can tell. Be it a full-fledged book, research paper, there's no sign of his name among any of the publications in this section. So that's one thing you can strike off your list. Otherwise, though, you have an entire section of the library that you could look at for books about the xiphoid and the history of the xiphoid. So you're going to have to be more specific if there's something specific that you're looking for.
How does the xiphoid work?
That's about 3 shelves of books.
Are there any particular quirks? No, the xiphoid is the source of all magic.
How the xiphoid works for dummies.
Has a flying asteroid hit your planet and imbued it with magic? Well, here you go. It looks so much like Gale with that fucking cloak on. I'm sorry,
Yes,
I randomly
yes.
looked at you and you were like
Yeah.
staring off. You look like Gale.
With the
Anyway,
purple.
continue.
Wait, hold on.
Are there any histories of other paladins of the xiphoid? And are there any quirks about their magic that say I should be aware of?
Okay, thank you. That does narrow it down. You are able to find it. Oh my God, you are able to find some more. Yes, just yep. There you go. There you go. You are able to find a couple publications specifically about the Aether clan. Most of it's theorizing an outsider perspective, but they still know of the Aether clan that protects the xiphoid and Treetop. So you find some information about that, and you do find some accounts of other paladins. What do you mean by quirks, though? Like, what do you expect? What are you looking to find?
Like, are there any instances under which people have lost their... Like, are there any oath breakers and what caused them to break their oath? Or is it like, hey, if you're a paladin of a god and you're going through here, these are like special feats. But if you're a xiphoid paladin, you get other feats.
You don't, you thumb
Like,
through a
you
lot
have
of these
stories.
kind of, yeah, you thumb through a lot of these looking through them. You don't see anything about Oathbreaker Paladins specifically in relation to the xiphoid. That would probably be a PR nightmare, and they probably kept that inside if it ever did happen. But you do see tales of paladins of the xiphoid, and typically they wielded power much more akin to a wizard than a paladin, just due to their innate connection to the xiphoid. So you have a lot of, probably a little overblown in fantastical, but supposed eyewitness accounts of paladins from the xiphoid that were wielding a mix of divine and arcane and nature magic. So quirk, for sure.
Okay. Note to self: how to get arcane magic? Question marks.
Ask Sani to hook me up with a good ship.
I've already started reading. Yeah, after that, I'm then going to wander over to, say, the more wizardy section,
The arcane section, yes.
the arcane section. And I'm going to, even more subtly, casually, wander into necromancy.
So you notice that
Shut up, Sani.
You notice that at least in the sections that you've gone in, there's nothing restricted down here. There's people weaving in and out of the stacks, and like you walk over to the arcane wing and walk to necromancy, and like maybe there's a part of cast that might be like, oh my god, this is so like bad. And it's like, ooh, necromancy. But like you just walk in, and like it's not restricted or anything. It's a place of knowledge. So yeah, you find the necromancy books, and even the books don't even have anything sinister about them. But you find necromancy, and since you're looking for more intro 101 necromancy, it's much easier to find books on that subject that are literally primers on how like necromancy started to be studied in Akora in general, practical applications, the ways that necromancy was originally studied to divine the first revivify spell and stuff like that, because technically that's necromancy. So yeah, you would probably lose a lot of time in there, and if you want to spend the rest of your time at the library there, that'd be a great place to do it. And you can sit there and just learn about necromancy from the ground up.
Yeah, the theory of how to preserve life.
Exactly.
Totally in line with my oath.
Yep. Okay, Voldemort. And then next would be Sane, who's probably in the same section somewhere, but not in the arcane section somewhere.
Right, so the two things I was mostly looking for were history topics.
Oh, okay.
Basically looking for additional records on Uni and what happened to it, since, you know, the only place I've ever really read about it before was at my temple.
Okay.
And kind of trailing off from that, looking into information on, like, old members of Hell and High Water, like biographies or histories of the organization that might overlap with that same time period, like 70-ish years ago.
Okay. Easy to find the stuff on Hell and High Water. There's definitely a whole bunch of books dedicated to it. There's a lot of fiction dedicated to Hell and High Water. It's a very popular one to write grand stories about. So you find a lot of that, but you do find some biographies as well. And you find a lot of people that are listed to have served at Hell and High Water at some point. But you eventually track down a book or two about Uni. And they read sort of like documentaries almost, done by researchers more closer to your time now than when this happened, like 50, 60 years ago. And you find pretty much what you remember in the tales from your island, where, you know, Uni was a very, very populous island that was one of the primary ports of trade in the world. So much traffic went through there. It was cutting edge magical research. It was one of the top destinations for researchers and travelers in the world. And then they theorize that some experiment went awry there one day and summoned something otherworldly that caused a loss of life the planet has really never seen before. And you can dig deep into the details about how one summer's eve, there was a massive fireball that happened at one point in the island where there was a research center. And there was reports of these eldritch-like monsters appearing out of nowhere. And within days, the island had fallen to these creatures, and there was a barricade set up around the entire island of Uni by a weirdly coordinated effort from multiple nations. And the only ones that were allowed to go in were some of Hell and High Water. And they were listed as killed in action and revered afterwards. They're some of the ones that have been, you know, praised at the Heroes of Circlets. The Heroes, wow, did I completely butcher that? The Circlet of Heroes Festival every year. And their names have gone down in history pretty firmly. You haven't heard of them yourselves, but they have been very noted in history. And what you find in there is a list of the ones that were deployed and lost at Uni. Apparently the invaders or whatever creatures were created, summoned, whatever, they were destroyed along with Hell and High Water, and the entire island is written off now as a dead zone. It's said that there's pools of necromantic energy and a lot of just nasty leftovers from the battle, and it has been universally agreed upon by every nation near that island that no one touches it, and everybody stays off it. And if you go on it, loss of life. You're considered lost. Nobody will come for you. The names, though, that you find are Lethia, Rayla, Olivera, Tamor, and Anison. And those were the names of the members of Hell and High Water that they weren't really sent. They were the ones that volunteered, and they were the most well-known and famous at the time and most successful. And they were the ones that went in with a squadron or two of soldiers from the other nations. And they were the ones that were sent in to deal with the threat, volunteered to go in to deal with the threat on Uni. So.
Okay. And then I think if she still has time before everyone has to reconvene, after she finds those names, she starts kind of trying to find mention of them in the Hell or High Water texts that are from about the right time period.
Once you have the names from the Unibook, you can find more about them. And like you can start assigning race to them and stuff like that, and rough descriptions of them and stuff. So you can find more about them there.
Okay.
So yeah.
So yeah, she just kind of sit at a table and like quietly hum to herself as she starts trying to piece shit together from these different books.
Yep. Perfect. You can spend the rest of the evening doing that. And then we have Alil. What were you doing, Alil?
Elil is going to study and try to learn if he can make sending stones like Agvir did.
Make sending stones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since Agvir seems to be able to make sending stones, he's gonna start to learn about that. See if he can do it.
Okay. Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So
So he's gonna study all night.
he's gonna study. It's like you have living that college life right now. All right. So you're able to find what you're looking for in the enchantment session specifically, because sending stones would be enchantment. And you can find a lot about the theory of sending stones, and then there are ones there literally for the construction and crafting of them, because they keep a lot of blueprints and technical manuals in the library too. So you can literally find a guide to make a sending stone if you spend the time to read it. So
Perfect.
and you just kind of sit down and try to copy it almost.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna study it. I'm gonna take out, and I'll see if I can take out a couple of pieces of loose stone that I've got lying around and
Okay. And just work on it for a bit.
test them out a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can spend as much time as you'd like there. If you don't need to go to sleep technically. If you want to.
I mean, as it will start to get,
it'll start to add up on you.
as it gets later. Is there a clock around?
Not really,
Okay,
not really.
all right.
So you might lose some time here, but if you spend at least 4 to 5 hours there, you can fashion a sending stone. A very basic one, but you can fashion your own sending stone and your own a pair technically. Yeah.
A pair of sending
Yeah.
stones.
Pair of sending stones.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. And then really quick before I forget, well, I won't forget, but just to say it now while we're on the topic, Vale, to go with that information, Rayla is a tiefling. Oliveria is an elemental. Apparently some kind of a flame elemental. Anison is an elf. Tamor is a dwarf. And Lethia is a Goliath, half Goliath. And those are the details that you found out looking through the Hell or High Water stuff. And then last but not least, Vander. What you doing?
He'll be looking for narrowing down on astral healing, very specifically.
Okay. The healing section is quite large, just like Arcane or Xiphoid or stuff like that, but the astral section is going to be much smaller in there, like maybe a shelf, if that. And it doesn't seem like there are a lot of books on this subject, but it has been studied a little bit at the university, and there are plenty of accounts of shaman-like healers out there that have practiced astral healing in the past. So you're able to find some books on it. What specifically do you hope to gain from the books, though?
He is well trained in it, but and he knows that his mom has more knowledge on it as well and stuff. But he wants to see if he can't glean more into it, like a way, like he already knows it's like a process of a time-consuming process, but it's more in finding details in relation to how he might treat a Tet
Okay.
on a like someone with such a damaged soul.
Ooh,
How to help them.
okay. So yeah, you'd be able to thumb through a lot of the books, and a lot of them would be very basic to you. You know, you could probably even be like, yeah, I kind of get it. I get it with the first couple chapters. Eventually, though, one of the books that has a really cracked sort of green cover that was probably really emerald back in the day and now is like dirty, dark green, maybe a little bit of rust. That one towards the end has a section where it tells a kind of a research tale about this drow from Quandir that was corrupted by a force that they never really understood, but how the soul was being tortured for years inside this drow, and then how a healer most successfully turned back most of the damage. And it doesn't really give you like this is step one, this is step A through Z on how to do this, but it talks about how the astral healers were only able to help them heal because they knew this person and they had grown up with it, specifically because they could, the way they helped them, from what you can piece together from kind of the weird way that they're telling the story, is because they grew up with this person and knew them before the damage happened. They had a lot of childhood experiences and even like toys and bits and pieces from that person's history to bring and use in the astral healing process. And it kind of gives you the bit of information and connects the dots in your head to make Vander start thinking about like, only so much of this can be done digging around in someone's spirit, their mind, etc. You have to augment your astral healing sometimes, especially if you want to do the bigger stuff. And that can be done through relationships, other people participating, even if they're not astral healers, but like having, two lovers together. You could be working on one of them, but the other one sitting there holding the other person's hand and being committed to the process. You could help remind them of like memories they've had in the past and help heal their soul in a certain way. And like, it's very vague and there's a lot of different ways you can run with it, but it plants that seed in your mind though. Like, wait a second, I could see this. Okay, so maybe if I knew more about Tet, and maybe if I could like pull some of those threads of her former life, that might start that really arduous process for her. And even with Sick and some of the other people, what are ways that you could work in life experiences, happy memories, memorabilia, stuff like that.
Okay. And then the last thing he'll look for is something in relation to the connection between nature and the soul.
Nature and the soul.
Because of his situation.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird.
Can you be any more specific? What, like,
Why
with
am I
nature?
made of vines?
Why am I made of vines?
For dummies.
Why am I made of vines?
Why am I made of vines? Why is it all vines?
So you're made of vines.
So yeah.
Probably in relation to the, like I guess the best way I could phrase it is like a chi blocking. Because he was blocked from his innate powers as a druid his entire life, pretty much.
Okay.
And he was wondering what the connection, if there was any connection between the two.
With your role, I would say that you could find a book. It would be buried in the healing section, but eventually you would pull out this book that looks like it used to have gems embedded in it that probably were stolen or chipped away at some point. But the book still has beautiful sort of gold-leafed pages, and it is a book about the concept of chakras in general. And it doesn't specifically call out the connection with nature, but more the person's connection with every different element and every different part of the magical world sort of thing. And I think you could spend some time the rest of your evening going through that one, because that one starts to explain how often you can be blocked through nefarious means such as spells and curses and stuff, but most of the time it's because of the people around you. And I would say the seed that Vander would take from that is because of the way that Vander was raised and then the way that your life went after you left home. Perhaps the people around you or your own mindset is what blocks you from your magic, your nature magic. And to kind of think on that.
Can we all take these books?
You can, yeah. It looks like in every section that you're at, So when you walk up to one of the, I should have described it. When you walk up to one of the shelves, you actually can't grab the books. Like they're all perfectly flush with one another, and you can't grab them. And a student probably told each one of you eventually that you have to take your visitor card and tap it against the bookshelf, and then you can take books out, and it counts as like renting the books, sort of thing. Cool. So you can take books with you. And when you guys went into the library, Sick tore off into one of the sections herself, and you haven't seen her, but she said she had some stuff to look to. So everybody can spend as much time as they want of their evening here. If you want to pull an all-nighter, you can. You'll have one level of exhaustion. It's not a big deal. So if you want to do that, or those of you that wouldn't get exhaustion, anything else with yours?
I guess the last thing he would do then with that last revelation is find a few books on like very detailed about the chakras as well. Because he already has a basic understanding of them.
Yeah.
With the kind of monkey he
This-
he never really got
This book is probably what you're looking for.
Oh,
Because
the
the
one
more,
he has.
the more that you go into it, it starts getting really deep into chakras. And whoever wrote it, it's an unnamed author, like it doesn't have a name on it anywhere. It is incredibly advanced. So I would say that was the book that he'd want to spend most of his time with. And you notice that towards the end of the book, with a lot of warnings written in the book itself, as well as some people that probably scribbled in the margins when they weren't supposed to, it has a couple very beautiful sounding but probably intense exercises to work through your chakra blocks. And there's like a whole, it's written kind of like, you know how in books the formatting changes on a different page, and instead of being like block text, it's a column in the middle like a poem kind of thing, or a haiku or whatever. This one has a very, like the last 20 pages are a very in-depth chakra meditation that is supposed to heal and help unblock things, but it's very emotional and very upsetting. And you see like scrawled in the notes students that have tried it and were not prepared for how intense it was. But there's a lot of things in there that you would probably benefit from studying.
He's getting ideas from this. Let's just say that.
Okay, well, he's got ideas. Anybody else doing anything in the evening?
No.
Would eventually go do my meditation.
Yes. Okay.
I'll take the book on sending stones and head back to the room as it starts to see it later.
Okay. Well, the evening passes. Some of you meditate, some of you get sleep, and the next day eventually rolls around, the floating university gliding in the skies above Quandir. And eventually everybody will, I assume, meet up back at the rooms unless you guys are doing something else.
Sonny will eventually realize the sun's coming up while she's still at that table in the library trying to read up, especially on lithium.
Yep.
We all wake up and we meet out and we're like,
Good morning.
Sonny's still there, I guess.
She doesn't sleep.
That checks out for
Yeah,
some.
I mean,
That checks.
at least I hope she's still there.
Which is convenient because when she did sleep, you had to like rotate her so she didn't stop breathing.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
The deep shark lore. I love it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second.
That is not true.
Donnie's not here to dispute that.
She's not.
The only thing that we have to do early, like when the sun is rising, is go to the divination professor.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably get started on talking to the professors and the headmaster as soon as possible, I guess. Yeah.
So how about we go get Sonny
Yeah, let's go get Sonny first, of course.
and then go
Maybe
find...
eat something, you know.
We can eat later.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll
Right.
tell
Aleel's
you
like,
how
but
to,
I want to
live
eat
in the
now.
house.
Okay. You know.
It was apparently time pressing for the divination professor because they have a very packed day today, and
Okay.
the earliest we could do is
Catch up
now.
for sure.
And also we want to avoid the student rush
Yeah, that's true.
for their coffee.
I mean, you are in the visitor center, so hopefully it's not too bad.
No, so did Sick leave the library as well?
Say what?
Did Sick leave the library as well?
She didn't. She never went back to the inn, but you've seen her throughout the night. So while you've been downstairs and stuff, the library is never not populated. It's less populated at night, but again, there are so many individuals in this world that don't need sleep. It's always a bustling spot, but it's kind of hard to miss the shawl of Vander's clothing that you recognize, and if she ever takes it off, the blue hair. So you've seen her poking through the stacks in many different areas throughout the night, but she never left. And you You last saw her a couple hours ago. So you might not know that she hasn't left, but she never came back to bed. You'd know. And then these two would know because you just talked. So what are you doing?
So I guess we'll go back to the library and
Grab Sick and
get
Sonny.
Sonny and Sick.
Yep.
Head to the
And
library.
then
Okay.
we'll go to see our divination professor.
Aaliyah's like, can I get a breakfast burrito on that?
Yes, you may.
You can't take a breakfast burrito into the library. What are you thinking?
they have anti-spill and shit. All right, so you guys head back to the library. It's just as you left it. Maybe a little bit more busy now that the sun is up. So, and you do see more visitors mulling about, but it doesn't take you long to find Sani still kind of hunched over a table with a bunch of books stacked up around her.
So you've been busy.
I'm trying to figure a few things out. Did
Yeah.
you? Oh yes, it's morning now. Did you all rest well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rested fine. Yeah.
Good. That's good. I think I might know who she used to be.
Ooh.
And then she'll open up to one of the pages she found about Lethia.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you can show them.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's,
like-
yeah.
She's a half Goliath. Used to be part of Hell or High Water. She was on uni when everything just listed as killed in action. Being this is the only person that was in this group that was on that island at the time that matches the person I saw in my vision. She is very tall.
Oh,
Check
a
out.
tent?
Yes.
Oh.
And the page that Sani spun around has like a crude drawing on it. It's not enough to get details from, but it's a biography of a very famous member of Hell of High Water. There's a whole bunch of biographies there, but the one that Sani's pointing at is about a half Goliath woman named Lethia.
Mm.
And she sounds like she was the de facto leader of the group that went to uni during the crisis.
Is there anything about who you might think Era was?
There are a couple possibilities, but I am not so sure just because Era says she had been changed considerably.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that kind of maybe matches the name, but was some kind of an elemental being. I don't think that quite matches. But we can figure it out. I can come back tonight and do some more research.
That's really good
Mhm.
about a tent.
It is somewhere to start with, because no one else but myself here has ever actually seen her, and this is very close.
Great stuff, actually. Look around for Sick.
Make a perception check. I mean, it's a giant library. You're standing on part of it. Might be hard to find her.
I saw her and then kind of point towards one of the sections, like heading that way a couple hours ago, but I have not seen her since.
18.
18? You have an advantage being tall. So
Oh, that's
yeah. Well, I mean, you could represent that as rolling the dice again. Go
Let's
for
see.
it. Go for it.
yeah, 20.
Nat 20?
No, dirty.
Oh, dirty 20. So yeah, you have an advantage because you're tall, and you can see a little bit over the stack. So you can look around and do a couple spinny spins, and you don't see her immediately. So she could be off somewhere else, or maybe she went back to the hotel room. You don't know where she is.
She needs to be with us for this word.
Well, let's go find her.
Okay, yes, please.
Spread out.
Okay. Search pattern Omega.
Yeah. Sonia will finish. Sonia will just finish scribbling down the last of her notes
Wrap
about
up.
Lethia, and then it's like, I can come back to this. I know which books to look for.
Yep.
Let's go see if we can find her.
Okay. So you guys, are you each taking like a different wing kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So you each head off in a different direction, and about 15 minutes of poking around the stacks and, taking in the sights of the library that you might not have seen because you were so caught up in your own stuff last night. Alil, you eventually catch a glint of the hair down a stack of books, and you see her sitting in one of the branches of the arcane section. And she's over in a corner, and it looks like she's almost kind of built a little fort out of books because she seems to have pulled a Sani and has been looking through a lot of things. So you just happen to see her head poking up out of the corner, and she's hunched over a book in the corner with a candle on a little platter next to her.
Gotcha. I'll kind of like walk up and I'm like, oh, it seems that you and Sonny had the same idea of how to spend your evenings.
Perception check.
Okay. Hey, that's a 15. It's a double-digit number for a perception check.
So you just had
I didn't know those existed.
you just had to mention the DM curse at the beginning of the game. It went back onto you. She startles at your voice, and for a second you can't really read the really weird expression on her face, but she snaps the book closed and looks up and stares at you for a second or two as if her brain is catching up, and then she smiles and goes, yeah, I got lost in the books. It's really easy. There's so many things that you could spend a lifetime in here reading.
Yeah, there's certainly enough books here for probably more than one lifetime.
I would say that.
Barely scratch it.
Is it time to go?
Yeah, we just got back together to come get you and Sonny. It's morning now, and they seem to want to get a head start on talking to the divination professor. Vander, as usual, is very adamant that you're here with us. So
I was gonna say Vander's there, and he wants me to come, doesn't he?
yeah, I mean, everybody seems to think that this is something that should be important, to help you out, and he's certainly much more adamant than everyone else. But that's just how he is.
No, that
He's
is-
just an animated person.
That is how he is. I suppose there's no avoiding it unless I actually tried to vanish, so I should probably come. And she grabs the book that she was looking at and stuffs it into her bag and stands up and is like, I'll lead the way.
Okay, all right. And as we kind of get to like the end of like the row, I'm like, hey guys, I found her.
Silence in the library.
Yeah, no,
Magic missile.
shushed by I get
only does
the
one hit
magic
point.
missile smacks me in the side of the face and then spells out in the air. Shh.
I like that.
All right, so you guys group back up.
Head to the divination wing.
Are you well sick? I know it's a little rougher on you to do this kind of all-nighter.
Is it?
She's an elf. I assume it's not too bad.
I mean, you still need a few hours to go meditate somewhere.
I mean, typically you do, but like I said, I like to sleep like humans do, so I kind of build up an excess of meditation hours. So
Is that how that works?
it's how it works. It's how it works for some of us, because if you meditate for 8 hours, which you can do, you end up being able to stay up longer. It's the same thing with most races that require sleep. Sometimes if you sleep in excess, you can get a little bit more energy. It's not perfect by any means, but no, I'm tired, but I saw a lot of books that I wanted to read and I had a lot of different questions I wanted answered. So, Sonic, roll perception.
You'll have to tell us more about them, about the books you read.
Nat 20. Oh.
Nice. I will. I found a lot of different things. It's just questions I've had in my mind for a long time about the nature of magic and specifically some healing. But I'm sure everybody had a good night where they could have lots of things to talk about. You notice that as you asked that question to her and she was talking, Sick has small dark bags under her eyes and her eyes are bloodshot.
That is not.
You just notice it. So.
Just kind of go to Vander like, she's very tired.
Should we?
Just let's do what we can. Just make sure she rests.
Considering you got a nat 20 as well, I will give you the additional information. Elves don't get bloodshot eyes and bags under their eyes typically. Like, that is a very weird thing to see on an elf because they don't need sleep.
That I was lacking context for, so thank you.
Okay.
I mean, they do need to meditate and everything, but yeah, bags under the eyes and bloodshot eyes, like bloodshot eyes sure splash poison in their eyes or something, and I'm sure they'll get bloodshot, but it's pretty hard to look that ragged.
Not a normal side effect of a little bit of exhaustion for them.
Exactly. Yeah, like maybe if somebody had been like on the road for weeks without sleep sort of thing, but you know she hasn't been that hard pressed in a while, so things that Sonny notices.
In that case, she does not talk to Vander yet.
Okay, strike that from the record.
Out of my brain.
Moves over towards Cass.
As they're all
He-
standing there.
It's like, can I show you something real fast?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you two step off into one of the stacks of books.
I don't think that's sick.
Sorry. What?
Like, wait, what? Wait, what's that?
Her eyes, they're wrong. Like, she's seen up a lot. She's never looked like that.
No, her eyes are red.
I don't know what's going on, but this feels wrong.
Yeah, either she has a really severe like parchment allergy or something, which I feel she would have been aware of, maybe taken precautions against, or that's elves don't do that.
Oh, really weird perch.
I'm going to try something.
I support you.
Takes out the wand of dispel magic.
No.
The university fell from the sky.
So Sonny will walk over to Sick and it's just like, so you're sure you're going to be okay? Nothing's wrong right now? And hand right on shoulder.
He like jumps slightly and looks at the hand and then looks up at you and like shrugs like a confused, what are you doing? But she goes like, yeah, I mean, I could use some food and eventually meditation, but I'm fine. It was just a night of studying. And what are you doing?
Heartthrob is an action. You can touch a creature, magically know the creature's current emotional state, and if it fails a charisma saving throw, which my save right now is, I want to say 15? Yes, 15. I immediately learned the creature's alignment and whether or not the last sentence I said was truth or a lie.
And this is the moment in which the DM regrets giving certain powers to the players when they are used correctly. So wait, what was the last bit again? The lie part.
Whether or
If
not the
you have to-
last thing they said to
Said
her
was a truth or a lie.
Oh, okay. And you had just asked if they were, yeah.
It's like,
okay.
are you sure everything's fine?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
the whether or not that's the truth or not is less concerning than like, what's the alignment here and what's the
Yeah.
emotional state?
Yeah, you said 15 charisma?
15 for alignment, yes.
15 for alignment.
Mhm.
What happens if they succeed?
I just don't learn that information.
Okay, but you learn the lie part.
No, the alignment and whether or not it was a lie is there. The emotional state is default, just automatically. I always learn that immediately.
Okay, so yes, she succeeds the charisma saving throw, just on the dice without modifier, and so you get just emotional state.
Yes.
Very inner turmoil. Her emotional state is very turmoil to Machulis in general right now, where she seems really worried and just out of place. Like she feels like she doesn't belong where she's at. Poor baby. You can tell like there's a sea of worry and anxiety and like churning inside. So
What is it that is bothering you so much?
what do you mean? Like I said, I didn't sleep and I was studying all night. Just like,
It is not that.
what do you mean? And she's like looking around at everybody else, like, is this like an intervention? Like, help? Like, what's going on?
Better gives you a quizzical look. What's going on?
And then keeping her hand right where it is, just kind of doesn't take an eye off of Sick and just says, I've gotten quite close with several elves. Yes, I have never once known one to look like this. And kind of indicate her eyes.
What? My silver eyes? They're pretty common and
They are very red right now.
Are they? I mean,
And there's
what? Because I can't have red bloodshot eyes for crying, Sonny?
Can you please tell me what's going on?
I don't feel like I should be here at the university because I am painting a target on every one of your backs, and I am feeling very out of place here right now, worried for all of you. And to be honest, I was crying in the stacks for quite a while. A little bit because of that, but mostly because I feel like I really fucked up when Vander got the bad news and didn't need me that night, and I stayed out on watch all night. So, not something that I expected to publicly air, but I was crying for quite a while.
I am still touching too, so
Well, can you just keep pulsing the ability?
That's as an action.
Can I,
As
can
an
I
action.
make an insight check to see if I think she's
You
telling
can
the
make an
truth?
insight check. Airing out the girl's dirty
Yeah,
laundry
I would
right
like
there.
to also make an insight check.
Oh,
That's
I would like to make a perception check on the illusion.
oh, what illusion?
The weird stuff.
Oh, the stuff on her face.
The face.
her face. You know,
It's
the weird thing with her face.
the
funky warble.
Okay, we'll resolve them one at a time. Dustin went first. You said insight.
It's a total of 20.
Total of 20. What she is saying is truthful, but it's not the whole truth.
I'd say mostly it's whether or not that seems like that's really what's bothering her, or if there's.
It doesn't feel. It feels to you. It feels like there's something else going
Okay.
on. Feels like a really fucking good cover though. We'll wait for your ability.
It was a 17. So
17.
pretty on
So very similar. And then you did a perception check on the bags under her eyes and the red bloodshot eyes specifically.
He looks really intently at her face.
Yeah, like from before, whether he could see that soft warble, like it was like what he thought was an illusion.
Oh, he never saw a warble. He just felt her
felt.
her.
Like it felt funny.
Yes, her face felt funny when you had a hand on it, but there's no warble or anything like that.
Sonny's the one with the aura warble.
Sonny's aura is the warble, yes. But anyway, you can still look at her and like everybody's right. Like the bloodshot eyes are a little weird, and the bags underneath definitely look like a human that hasn't gotten sleep, kind of thing. But then again, you also don't know what an elf crying for hours looks like. So, you know.
Would I know?
Oh my god. I mean,
Might have a good idea.
I have had trauma.
She might have an idea.
considering that you spent a lot of time on that ship recently, crying and drinking and processing some emotions that you've now gotten through, you don't remember your eyes ever doing the same thing specifically. So,
With that perception, just to like look at her, I suppose then it
Yeah.
would be a dirty 20.
dirty 20? Yeah, you notice that like looking at her, she looks like sick with bags under her eyes and bloodshot eyes. Like it looks like sick. And you know, if you find a way to reach over and touch her in this already really awkward situation, you might be able to know more with a hand on her face like last time. But right now, she just looks like confused and getting irritated, sick.
From both sides. Just
It's like, yes, the cheeks and the and sick's like, I'm going.
all in there.
And sick is like fireball.
And I'd be like, yeah, deserved.
And then while everybody else is doing that, you use your ability again.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's still just
It's just a once per action round kind of thing. So
okay. I
As
will
long
say
as I maintain contact.
yes. Succeeds.
Mhm.
Succeeds the save. Nat 20.
Wow.
Yeah, right. That's
Nailed it.
very weird for me, but nat 20.
I'll go back
And-
to the old Kira who failed all
that. Damn it, you have inherited that now. But you still get what was the last thing that she just said to Sonny?
I get the current emotional state always.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's just the emotional state.
starting to feel claustrophobic-y and panicky with the questioning and everybody like circled around her kind of thing.
I feel like we're being a little too overwhelming. Can we just take a step back?
Let's
Yeah.
get back to the room for a minute. Come
I mean, should we do that or like, is how important is it for Sick to be here for the divination professor? This isn't the enchantment professor.
It depends on what specifically we're looking for from the professor. Because I know we want to talk to them about a couple of things, the divination professor,
That's
but
mostly the sending spell.
mostly the sending spell.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hang back with Sick if y'all want to take this.
I would stay with you.
I know nobody needs to hang back. I'm fine.
We need to talk.
Okay, you're all acting super fucking weird. Like I was studying just like all of you. I cried, and now you're all crawling all over me like I have a second face. Like what the fuck is
Do
going
you have
on?
a second face? And you touch
I'm gonna grab Alil and start going for the entrance. We're exiting.
Hang on.
You just reach over, like grab her face again.
Yeah, gently, like he did before.
Yes, yeah. I'm assuming like a caress kind of thing. Okay. There's not really a role for it, really, but you reach over and cup her cheek in your hand, and it does still feel wrong. And this time, to build off that feeling wrong, to clarify that feeling, her skin feels slightly rougher and a little too warm. She usually runs pretty cold. She's usually like very cold in general. And yeah, so you just feel that. And she just like freezes again and looks at the hand like she's terrified for some reason. And she's like, what?
I think I'm with Sonny on this.
Let's speak in the room.
Okay.
As,
Come on.
I'll kind of give an eyeball to Sonny and like, give me a sec. And kind of pull you aside, and I'll pull one of the sending stones that I just in case anything happens while we're separated.
These should be much better. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you and Leal are going off to the divination professor then?
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm suddenly a paragon of social grace and feel like this was an awkward situation.
For once, Cass is like, wow, is this what it's like on the other side?
Now I know what Sonny feels like.
I know what Sonny feels like.
So, as we are walking away, I am gonna use a divine sense.
Okay, and remind me again. I remember most of it, but
Detect good or evil. Sense anything affected by the hallow spell or near the location of a celestial fiend or undead. That isn't behind total cover.
yeah. Well, when the spell goes off, you get a multitude of pings from interesting things in the library. You're like,
You're like, oh god,
Too much sense!
yeah,
The air is magical.
yeah, even the air.
why do you think I have not tried to detect magic on this? It's in the air.
Yep.
So you specifically focusing on sick because that's the target. It just says good or evil. It doesn't go further than that.
Correct.
She registers as good, and she doesn't suddenly register as a fiend or anything. She looks the same she's always pretty much looked in that spell. She's not affected by the hollow or any of those spells. She doesn't read as she's never read as a fiend or a celestial or an undead. She doesn't do that now, and she reads as good.
Okay.
So.
Keep walking.
Okay. So the two of you peel off from the growingly awkward situation.
As we're walking away, I'm gonna lean into Cass and like, I mean, she didn't seem like she was telling the whole truth.
No, and like, I mean, I suppose everyone's different, but I have done some crying recently,
Oh,
and a lot in my life.
never-
And yeah, I don't get bloodshot eyes.
I've certainly never seen my mom look like that, and I mean, there were times when you know, when me and my siblings were younger, where I'm sure she probably didn't get sleep for days, even the little bit that she needs.
Yeah, so something seems off with her, but she's not, evil or
Okay.
suddenly possessed by a celestial fiend or is suddenly undead. So I'm feeling like this isn't an urgent crisis.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like she wasn't necessarily lying about what she was saying. She's holding something back.
Yeah, but something weird is going on with her physically.
Vander certainly seems to think that.
Yeah, and Vander, has about as much subtlety as I do, sometimes even less so.
Yeah. He seems to be very fixated on something being wrong. So
Yeah, not
I
really
guess
sure.
we'll let them handle that.
Yeah, let's go get questions about sending stones.
All right.
All right. So you two head off, and you're seeking out the divination professor, correct?
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
bros.
bros.
Okay. Are you trying to drop in on one of Jesperos's classes, or are you trying to catch him in his office?
Office.
Yeah.
Office? Okay. So you guys are up bright and early and making your way over there. So you follow the very well made signs and maps, and it doesn't take you that long to find the divination campus within the campus. And looking over the staff directory, again, only a few minutes to weave through the corridors that seem like they're designed like a maze over here on purpose. And all of the divination buildings are made of the same sort of stark white marble with inlaid gold. And you notice that white and gold tend to be the theme over here. And you see a lot of faculty wearing, I forget what the actual name, what are those things called at universities where you wear the ribbons? Just tabards? What?
Stole.
Say what?
Stole.
A skull?
Stole.
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 S-T-O-L-E.
Oh, thank you.
S-T-O-L.
could not hear. So
There might be skulls here. We don't know.
yeah, baby. With white and gold stoles that they're wearing over their standard darker university robes. But you can make your way to his office very easily. And I assume you guys go back to the room with the sick?
Yeah.
Yes. Not dragging her?
No.
Okay. Strongly encouraging?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like we should go have a conversation.
Okay, so you guys can head back there, but you, Alil and Cass, you make it to Jesperos' office, and the door is actually wide open, and it sounds like there's a multitude of voices coming from it, and kind of as you walk up to it, 2 other professors or faculty walk out and just nod to you and head down the hallway, but the door remains open.
Just kind of knock on the door to make our presence known.
You hear a confused sound from the inside, and he goes, "Oh, come on in."
Thank you. I'm going to close the door.
Behind you? God, never mind. Never mind.
Like, stick a hand on it. She's
Yes,
closing it
yes.
and be like, maybe we'll hold off on that for a
Sorry.
sec. It gives off an impression.
That's part of it. We're going to lead with introductions because that helps
I'd be
smooth
like,
thing over.
Sorry, Professor.
You look inside, and
Hi.
at a beautiful obsidian desk in the stark white room,
Slowly push
you
the door
see
back open.
a very old male drow with white hair that goes down to the floor, most likely, who has a desk filled with all sorts of glowing, ticking gold trinkets and a large stack of scrolls that he seems to be working on with a beautiful blue quill that's the size of his head. And he looks up and he goes, introductions, you said?
Sorry. Hi, my name is Cassiana.
Hello, Professor Jesperos.
I'm with the Heroes of Orishire.
I don't believe I've heard of that adventuring group.
We're new. And
I
it takes a while
see.
for information. And this is my associate, Alil.
Hi.
Also a member of the Heroes.
I guess.
I see.
New recruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
How
Probation. Probationary. Yeah. I'm a probationary period, you know.
How can I help you?
we had some questions about sending spells and sending stones.
All right.
Some of a sensitive nature. Do you mind if I close the door so we're not casually overheard?
I am intrigued that you have questions about sending stones that warrant bursting into the lead professor for a department at the university. So by all means, close the door and regale me with your tales.
Sorry, you were recommended to us
Now you can
by
close the door.
Hooper
Matthias?
Matthias.
Oh, are you a friend of his, or?
Yeah. Well, a casual acquaintance, but a person traveling with us. He's a friend of a friend.
I see. Well, if you know Matthias, then I assume he just wouldn't send anyone my way for random questions. So what brings you to my school?
We have been informed that, at least as far as contact with our group goes, sending spells are being intercepted by a third party remotely. How does that happen?
When you say sending spells are being intercepted, do you mean specifically the individuals in your group communicating with one another? I need specifics.
Outside sources trying to contact our group, right?
Yes.
With no rhyme or reason other than you are the intended recipient.
It seems to be so far the only common thing that we can see.
Regardless of sender, wherever you are.
I mean, we haven't confirmed every spell has been, tracked, but
You have reason to believe some have been.
yes.
Fascinating. What tipped the hand? What was the piece of data that made you think a sending spell or spells had been intercepted?
This information came from you.
An associate of ours, who's a very talented magic user, discovered that they were being tracked by their sending spells to us being intercepted
Oh.
and then traced back to them.
So they gave you a warning.
Yes.
The magic to do what you're speaking of is known. It's typically used by nation states during wars or for spycraft, because intercepting anyone's magic on a long-range scale tends to be an intensive, expensive effort. So, is it possible? Oh, yes, it's possible. Have I seen it before? Yes, I have. The question that you need to ask yourself, and that I'm asking you right now, is who did you piss off enough to spend these resources on tracking you, or your esteemed colleague that first located this deception?
A Rune Knight veteran.
There's a list.
Is the most likely one.
Yeah, hang on, let me.
He specifically had a reason to track down this associate. And
The
knew
one
of
that
us.
informed you.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
However, there are some other people who might have a vendetta against our group, but wouldn't necessarily have anything to do with that other associate.
Good at making friends.
We actually make a lot of great friends. There's just, you can't be everyone's cup of tea.
Fair.
We'll just kind
Hand
of
wave
around
over the
nonchalantly for a
assassination.
second and then.
Well, it's not worth any of our times to sit here and talk in the theoretical when you've taken the initiative, we'll say, to make it all the way to the university and to my very office. If I can have your permission, both of you, to use whatever I find out in my research, if I deem it interesting enough, I'd be happy to give you both a quick look over right now and see if there is any sort of interference that I can ascertain.
Sure.
Yeah. Happy to help with research.
Yeah.
Good. And he pushes away and stands up, and you do see that hair does go all the way down to the floor and probably drags a couple inches on the floor. And he adjusts his robes, and he walks around the side of the desk and puts a hand on Alil's shoulder and kind of gestures towards the middle of the room, as choosing him as the first subject. And you notice that the beautiful kind of thick plush carpet in here has like shaved out from it lots of different runes. It kind of directs you towards the middle of it and goes, I'd like to just do some observations, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I should have asked before. Can you cast sending by chance?
I can't cast sending myself.
That's fine. It was just
I
part
have scrolls if we need it.
If that would help, if you would have come over here and guides you to a different spot. If you would stand here, yes, right there. Nope, there you go. If you would cast a sending spell to your compatriot here, I could possibly ascertain a bit more about what plagues you.
I will burn a scroll.
Okay. What do you say to Alil?
I've never been part of a research study. This is very interesting.
I've never been to a school before. A rural village.
Yeah. He's homeschooled.
I mean, I've met
Oh,
rural growers, but
Rural. Oh, wow. There's a reference I haven't heard in years. So you cast the sending and say that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You notice that as you do that, and pretty much ever since he positioned you to, there's like faint little glimmers of like, looks like static electricity, but has a gold tint to it through the runes in the carpet. And he walks back and sits on the edge of his desk and gets a kind of distant look in his face as one hand idly twitches like runes in the air, and you're assuming that he's doing what he alluded to. And after a few moments, the vacant look fades from his face, and he looks back up at both of you and nods and goes, "You're transmitting magic like beacons, the both of you."
I take it not because we're just so overwhelmingly powerful with magic.
No, in this case, you are not prodigies that are exuding the aura of greatness, if that's what you're trying to say. But it sure would look that way to the untrained eye, that you are just leaking magical energy everywhere.
Is there a way to, like, plug that up?
You cast Divine Sense just a little bit ago, didn't you?
Yes.
Everything that you're doing is leaving a magical signature and blasting it out for anybody that's skilled enough to hear it.
So again, how do we stop that? Because I would like to, keep that on the down low.
Assume that you would like some privacy. It looks like it was a spell that was put upon you a while ago. The magic looks like it is settled very well. Getting rid of it, though.
Bless you.
Thank you. It's quite dusty in the house.
All the paper and ink.
I never let housekeeping come in here.
Do you ever get bloodshot eyes from the?
No.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh no! Can we get some natural?
We okay over there? Okay.
Oh my dear.
That just killed me.
Anyway.
Towel over here.
You're gonna hit the camera.
No, Ray's got it.
Thank you.
Professional.
I was walking over here. I was assuming it was up here.
Hey now.
3 incidents and 2 of them were over there, so I
Yeah,
understand.
there's
certainly a pattern, a track record.
Uh-huh. Anyway.
Serious.
I haven't seen this particular case before, but there is a couple of different ways to get rid of it. I would say a custom implementation of the spell Forbiddance in this case would be the most apt to try. Basically, we're going to use very high-level divination magic to purge your body's armor, personal belongings, literally your aura of whatever is clinging to you. Because there is something put on you, most likely in the divination style of magic, that simply broadcasts anything that you do magically. So if you receive a sending spell, it yells it into the void. And if you send a sending spell, it also yells it into the void. And if you cast spells, it yells it into the void. And it's quite an interesting, in a way, beautiful piece of magic, but it makes you scream like a banshee wherever you go that magic's involved.
That's good to know. Yeah, perhaps we test it out on one of us, make sure it works, and then we'll get the group together.
Oh, there's more of you?
There's
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Don't even want to
There are a
Well,
couple of things.
if you have an hour, which I do in this case, and this is getting more interesting by the minute, and I can use this in my research, so I will entertain you. I can craft the ritual here with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Before we get into that, there's just, since we're on the topic of screaming into the void,
Yes.
what happens when the void punches back?
I love the fact that you ran with the metaphor, but I'm going to need you to be a little more specific.
One of our associates, was casting Ascending to someone, and in the midst of that, they got, hit with some sort of a invisible force that caused physical bodily damage.
Physical, as in they were stabbed with something. More specifics, please.
Are we talking about when she tried to contact Matilda? Yeah, she.
Who are you talking to?
She ran. I want to make sure I wasn't forgetting a
real
different.
quick.
Yeah, I want to make sure I wasn't forgetting a different instance. It's like she ran headfirst into a wall and started hemorrhaging from the brain.
Hemorrhaging from the brain.
Yeah, just
from
like-
a sending spell.
Yeah. This is likely tied up in some Fey magic.
Oh, isn't
Political.
everything that is crazy.
Aren't the Fae just the worst?
Uh,
Also,
You're
I'm
not
an
here-
elf. I'm as Fae as you.
Yeah.
it's concerning that you've brought up such a specific example, and I'm sorry for whoever was on the receiving end. Is this a thing that exists and that we know of? Yes. I haven't really heard about it for a long time. Actually, the last war that Quandir was involved in many, many, many years ago, that was not before the whole Elion mess. It is a way to assassinate people, yes, and it does exist. And with the, it somewhat overlaps with the magic on you that is yelling, but not really. It's a separate sort of enchantment where you can enchant a target. So when they are the recipient of a spell or someone's trying to reach out to them, you cause a, I'm guessing off the cuff, a custom implementation of the spell Weird, which is a dastardly piece of psychic magic that could rend someone's brain from their very body.
That's lovely.
It is not, but I understand your turn of phrase.
Yes. I have so many questions I don't even know where to begin with.
Well, I need an hour to prepare this ritual if you want to talk while I work.
Yeah, pretty much. Who would do such a thing?
Someone with immense psychic powers that is very evil and wished someone to fall to harm if they talked to someone.
Yeah. Like with
Imagine
a,
someone like that might also be the kind of person that would have the resources to intercept a sending spell.
Exactly. You're dealing with somebody that is a very accomplished magic practitioner,
cool.
as in one of our tenured professors. If I wanted to set up a spell like that, and please know that you most likely have not browsed my credentials in academia, my history in academia, but even that would be somewhat... Could I do it? Yes. Would it be a challenge to get the blood pumping? Yes.
So likely not a rune knight who would do this.
Perhaps a rune knight that served in the war that I talked about and was a practitioner at the very top of their field, perhaps. But it's also not really the type of magic that I see would associate with rune knights due to the psychic nature. Not that they can't do psychic magics, but typically this is going to be a savant, a child that was born with psychic-like abilities and spent their lives honing them. Or, as you said, it could be perhaps a member of the Fae Court that have abilities beyond our knowledge.
Yeah, that's suddenly feeling more likely. Shit. Cool.
And as you're talking, he'll actually stand up and he gathers a lot of implements from his desk and he starts going around the room making adjustments to the carpet and drawing some runes on the wall and moving different things around. It just seems like he's setting up a big ritual circle. So,
I have a question.
Yes.
Would it be possible for us to basically reverse the tracking?
oh, flip the spell on its head sort of thing.
That would
Yeah.
be fantastic if we could.
Like maybe if one of us does not have the magic cleared off, this leaking magic cleared off of them,
Yes.
can we use that? Like if a sending spell was cast to one of us, is there a way for us to try and track back whoever is trying to intercept it?
That's a brilliant idea, sir. And possibly, yes. Possibly. If we gather some data from clearing it from the both of you and some of your companions, if one companion doesn't mind being the red-headed stepchild, there might be some sort of... I don't know if a complete reversal is even possible, given the fact that there's so many unknowns, but there could be some information to be gained from it, perhaps.
Okay.
So, did you both want me to attempt to clear it from you?
You can clear her.
Wait, is it on you as well?
He said it's on me as well.
It is. That's very interesting. You haven't encountered Ted as far as we know.
It could be from his colleague that he mentioned.
I have encountered Agbear in person, though,
You have.
and I wouldn't have been concerned about all of this at the time, so Lord knows what that ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, okay. Yep. No, please. Test
All right.
away.
And he continues setting up his ritual, and we'll probably pick that up next time when that happens. But before we move on before we end the episode, we'll go back to the rooms where Sonny and Vale. Hey, Sonny.
I'm
and
very
Vander.
confused why I'm here.
Sonny and Vander have
Hey, Sonny.
encouraged strongly the distraught sick to go back to the hotel. So you guys are back at the Sword and Chalice Inn, and you're up, I assume, in your rooms, right? Okay.
That was the idea, is back to the room. So it's like, okay, we're out of a public setting. Let's talk.
Okay.
And Sonny's just going to find an excuse to like keep a reassuring hand on and kind of try to suss out what's happening here.
So you guys get back to the room.
Tense. You really just gotta work the shoulders.
I will say that you can't just pulse that every 6 seconds and wait for her to fail the check. You can get one more use of it on the way back, at least, before you get up to the room, because
with the thumbs, it's a pulse.
once you get back to the room, she is going to go try to sit on one of the beds and would probably like pull away, kind of thing.
Makes total sense.
So we'll do one more check, and she fails. So you learn what?
The exact thing is... The target fails a charisma saving throw. You learn the creature's alignment if the last sentence it said was a truth or a lie.
Okay. Well, we don't know what that was.
Yeah.
But you can learn the alignment, and it means like old school D&D alignment, doesn't it?
Mhm.
That's weird because we don't really use those anymore. Chaotic good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So chaotic good is what you'd pick up, or whatever more apt flavor of that we would use these days. But yeah, you get that like right as you guys are walking up to the rooms, and then once you get to the room, she does kind of just pull away and takes the shawl off and tosses it on the bed and makes her way to the far bed in the room that her and Vander were going to stay in, and kind of sits on the edge of the bed and is obviously tense and is just looking at both of you for an explanation of what's going on.
Well, I actually... can you stay here for a second? Is that okay? I actually want to ask her something real fast.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to climb out the window.
Sorry about this.
Uh,
And he's gonna guide you somewhere a little more private.
you can just walk through the connecting door.
Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody's six. Like everybody's just having private conversations.
I feel like there's a couple possibilities of what this could be. It could be something genuine, or like in something like the curse that's affecting her. It's like the crack in her spirit is worsening, and I need to go through another
Would
session.
that cause physical changes?
It's hard to say. She did say she was crying a lot, and I'm not too well versed in elven
I mean,
physiology.
Cass was crying a lot on the ship.
That's true. So I don't know if it's a combination of things, but it also could be a physical toll from the curse, is what I would assume on that option. Another one is that it's, as you said, it's not sick; it's someone else.
It could be. That's
And in that case,
something strange is happening for sure.
we could try ascending.
I don't know if I want to try that just yet, but I can.
Like I have one more scroll. I could just say, "How are you?" And thinking of sick. I wouldn't think of the one with
No,
the
this is
bloodshot
making
eyes.
sense. This is making sense. Just if something
Okay.
has happened, I would be cautious here because you remember.
Mhm.
I can see if maybe if you can just keep her talking for a minute, I can make sure that there's not any strange magic happening.
Okay. I could go through a session with her, see if I can see what I see. And if you want to watch,
All right.
okay, we'll do that. And reconvene.
Okay, so she hasn't moved. She like pulled her legs up onto the bed and sitting cross-legged, and it just looks stiff and very awkward right now. She watches you two walk back in from your private conversation and goes, "And?"
We're worried. And from what I can tell, I feel like this is my assumption that the curse that you're under is worsening somehow. And so I was wondering if we could do a session of astral healing to see if I can see anything, if that's the case, and
Okay.
hopefully heal you. But is that okay?
Because you think that something's happening with my wound?
I feel like that might be the case.
All right. What about counterpoint? What if I just go to sleep and sleep for like a good 8 hours? Don't you think that might help?
That would, of course, help too, I'm sure. But I would prefer to do this because we have something
There is the
immediately.
curse to consider.
Yeah. I would rather see now versus later at the risk of you not waking up.
All right, if you want to come over and do that.
And he'll sit next to her and place a gentle hand on hers, squeeze a little tightly.
She looks up at you, and it's a very mixed expression of a multitude of emotions, but the main one is annoyance and tiredness. As she snaps a hand up, make a wisdom saving throw, Sonny.
That's a 6.
That's a 6.
I rolled a 2.
So Sick looks up at you with that face and just goes like that. And Sonny's thrown against the wall that Sonny's near and frozen in place with a hold person spell. And she looks up at you because she hasn't moved. It was just like a bam, and Sonny bangs against the wall and is frozen. She goes, "You are really getting on my nerves."
Arrow?
I figured with how long it took you to figure out Aaron was following, you wouldn't pick up on me this fast.
The arrow, right? I don't want to misinterpret.
That's what I'm saying,
Okay.
Vander.
I had a feeling that was the case.
And as you say that, she's nodding at you like this, like the sarcastic nod. You watch the skin go and like some sort of chameleon-like spell. It doesn't look like disguised person, and it doesn't look like a mimic or shape-shifting. It's something that you haven't really seen before, but the key marker of it is like little scales almost flipping, and then suddenly like it's Six clothes and everything like that, but Air has the hand out and Air is looking at you and sitting on the bed with you.
Gotcha. He doesn't actually remove his hand.
Okay.
He keeps it there. I'm glad to see you, but is Sick okay? I'm sorry. I that's something I feel is very important.
I had a feeling that you'd ask, yes. She's tied up in the forest.
Is she,
She's back at the camp that you made that one day.
Oh.
I'm sure she's fine.
well, why are you here? And can you let her go?
I don't trust the shark. She can stay here for a few minutes while we talk.
Okay.
But I'm here for very specific reasons, and I was really hoping I'd be able to achieve some of them before you sussed me out. But you are just all of you are so persistent.
Here. He's here. And I've touched you several times. I don't know how to feel.
You
about
always
you.
touch her face that much.
Yes. I don't know how to feel about holding you in the night.
Sonny could corroborate, but she's currently under a hold spell.
Yeah, it is. Which she'll get out of very soon.
feeling.
Yes.
Well, the point of order though, since that night where Sick was out on watch, Sick hasn't cuddled you or anything. Like
she made a
like
point.
I've been
that when
saying
we
that
got
the
to
whole time
city-
of like Sick
yeah.
hasn't like walked near you. She didn't sleep in the same bed as you. Like she's been avoiding Vander for most of the time. So you have been like cutesy with her in public, but that's it. So.
Yeah.
But on that note, where she says that you have a lot to talk about, I think that's where we'll end the session tonight. So we have two separate things going on. I'm actually very impressed you sussed her out that fast. So I was like, considering Aaron was a multi-month process, how long will this one take? So
There were more clues here, I feel.
there were a little more clues,
Yeah, Aaron was kind of a case of we had clues, but we didn't really have the good tools to suss them out.
I suppose. But I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys had fun out there in the audience. We're going to wrap up for tonight. We'll be back next Sunday at 7 p.m. PST for the next episode of Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern, where we get to figure out what the heck is going on in the room with Era, Sonny, and Vander, and then what is going on in the room with Allele and Cass and the divination professor that's about to perform a ritual and hopefully get them even more answers to all these questions they've had forever. So at least the university seems to be spilling out information and answers to those who come to its hall seeking said answers. But Please keep an eye out on all Mythical Family socials and especially our Discord. Please join our Discord. We got a lot of fun Halloween spooky month announcements coming up for special games and streams and all kinds of cool stuff. So please, if you haven't already, join the community, come hang out with us, and keep an eye out for those things. In the meantime, hope all you amazing people out there have a great week, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.